helps build true confidence that comes from understanding our strengths and weaknesses. Humility includes being grateful for what we have, for our friends and family, and for the opportunities we encounter. This helps us focus on what truly matters. This gratitude keeps us connected with other people and with the world, helping us feel that we are part of a larger group. In summary, being humble is a very important Stoic quality for the development of good and lasting confidence. It helps us appreciate ourselves without thinking too highly of ourselves, always learning from others and our surroundings, and treating people with respect and honesty. Cultivating humility makes us better people and helps make the world a more welcoming, respectful, and connected place. 6th point, know and live according to your personal principles. True and lasting confidence comes from living according to your most important principles. It's not enough just to know what you believe in. You need to act daily in accordance with it. This means being honest and true to yourself, something the Stoics consider very important. Epicurus once said that talking about doing the right thing isn't enough. You really have to do it. Personal values are super important. They're like a compass that helps you choose, act, and shape your life. Think about which values are most important to you, like being honest, loyal, courageous, or kind. Identify your core values and stick to living according to them. Living with integrity means doing and saying things that correspond to your beliefs and values. It's difficult to do this, especially when others pressure you to go against what you believe. But every time you choose to be true to yourself instead of taking the easy way out, you feel better about yourself. You prove to yourself that your beliefs are real and important in your life. To match what you do with what you think is right, start with small steps in your daily life. If honesty is important to you, always tell the truth, even when it's difficult. If you care about being kind, try to help others and be pleasant, even when no one is watching. Doing these small good deeds regularly helps you become the person you want to be. Remember that following your values is a continuous process, not a final goal. You may make mistakes along the way, but what matters is recognizing those mistakes and growing from them. When you define and adhere to your own values, you not only become more confident in yourself as you truly are, but also become a role model for others. Staying true to your values is the key to a happy, purposeful, and confident life. Living according to your values means being honest when speaking to people, keeping your promises, and behaving in a way that shows what's important to you. Aligning what you do with what you believe not only makes you feel at peace inside, but also makes others trust you more. Living according to your values also means being responsible for what you do and what happens because of it. You show your dedication to your values by accepting your mistakes and correcting things. Thinking regularly about your actions is very important. When you take time to reflect on what you've done and decided, it helps you ensure that you're living according to your values. This regular self-assessment is a great way to keep growing and improving. 7th point, practice gratitude daily. A key element in Stoicism and building self-confidence is practicing gratitude. It's not just about being grateful for the big things in life, but also appreciating the small moments and blessings. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Start each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a sunny day, a tasty cup of coffee, or the smile of a loved one. This practice shifts the focus from what you lack to what you have, promoting a positive mindset. When you think about what you have instead of what's missing, you can stay positive, even when things are tough. This gratitude helps you approach problems differently, seeing them as opportunities for learning and improvement. Gratitude also involves recognizing the efforts of others. Acknowledge the support and kindness you receive, whether from friends, family, or even strangers. Expressing your gratitude to them strengthens relationships and builds a supportive community around you. Another aspect of gratitude is appreciating the challenges you face. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, view them as opportunities to learn and grow. This perspective not only builds resilience, but also deepens your understanding and appreciation of life's complexities. 8th point, embrace learning and curiosity. Confidence grows when you expand your knowledge and skills. A Stoic approach to learning isn't just about academic pursuit, it's about having curiosity about the world and yourself. Epicurus emphasized the importance of learning, when he said that only the educated are free. Commit to learning something new every day, whether it's a fact, a skill, or a perspective. This continuous learning keeps your mind active and engaged, helping you adapt to new situations more easily. Curiosity also means being open to different viewpoints. Engage with people who have different experiences and beliefs. This not only broadens your understanding but also teaches empathy and respect for diversity. Remember that learning is a lifelong journey. There's always something new to discover, and each piece of knowledge gained increases your confidence and wisdom. In summary, building self-confidence through Stoicism involves practicing strength, humility, and gratitude, living according to your personal principles, and embracing learning and curiosity. These principles guide you toward a more fulfilling, resilient, and confident life, where challenges are opportunities and every moment is a chance to grow and improve. To summarize, deciding and following your personal values is very important for true and strong self-confidence. This guides you and gives meaning to your life. By acting according to your values, you improve yourself and have a positive impact on others. This dedication to your values leads to a satisfying and meaningful life, full of confidence. You've reached the end of this lesson. I'd like to thank you for watching until the end. You're already on the path to improving your life through Stoicism. Keep seeking knowledge, practicing humility, and cultivating gratitude on your journey. Remember to apply these principles in your daily life and constantly pursue personal growth. Until our next video, where we'll continue exploring ways to live a more meaningful and confident life. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, what you really need when you really sit in the silence is peace. And the only way to peace is through understanding and acceptance. The only way to that is through functional communication. Could you see what this really is? If you had a bunch of me's who were authentic and accountable and response-able, living into their supernatural beingness, being a head or a source of communing for community, the system is done. I'm the biggest threat ever. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that self is self. The universe is macro, as above, so below. Anything you see out there is in here. You have to have some ego in this life to go past all the tests and challenges when everyone else tells you you're crazy. If you don't have some level of ego, you're not going to get that done. You're going to fold. That's just what I found to be true for me. You can't worry about what you're going to lose. You have to focus on what you're going to gain. Your self-respect, your honor for your nature, and an ability to use your discernment to check other people in their ego. And nobody's above that program. Let's really understand that there's like many levels and moving parts to this. You know, you got to have the understanding with the discernment, and you have to have the application with enough ego to check someone else's ego when they want to lead you where they want you to go rather than where we all need to go. And there has to be some level of trust in oneself. You see, there's the refocus. It's not the inclination to be possessive. It's what are you trying to possess? Think I'm going to be possessive over a person, place, or thing and lose my peace and my connection to that and my discernment? Absolutely not. Because supernaturally, we're meant to be a certain thing, it would seem. We got to get into alignment with that. That's God's will, so to speak. And yeah, it's not always pretty. And it's not always what culture and society shows you. Oftentimes, it's the exact opposite. Let's get it out on the table. I love the game. Right? If you love life and you love the game and completion, you love talking about your thoughts and feelings because we're going to get to something through this shit one way or the other. You don't want to do this process. You don't want to step out completely into faith. You don't want to be radically fucking authentic to the point you might chase everyone away. Well, you ain't going to get to reap the benefits and status or reward of real man. You're going to be Pinocchio, fashioned in the wood shop, attached with the strings, lying your whole life with your nose growing. The system thrives off of beta males not knowing themselves and being in their position, not leading but following, and getting to the women through the benefits and privileges and turning that house into chaos against God's law and God's alignment. Why do you think they hate me so much and come up against me so much? Because I'm trying to free a whole bunch of motherfuckers from themselves and a generational systemic problem where we've rebuked creation and our supernatural beingness for sophisticated, civilized society. But ultimately, there's an organization here within the seeming chaos. There's a bigger understanding that we can align with to move out of what we see here as so disempowering and beyond us. You know, there's a direct connection to internal and external space. They've proven that. So let's get really real with ourselves and each other. Let's reconcile the collective unconscious. Let's move into purpose and meaning and reconciliation, and let's co-create. They're gonna respect a motherfucker like me who does without for a while and sacrifices with discipline so they can build a future. Wow. Wow. Yeah, we're coming at you. We got Pino Power. Oh man, Hard TV. That autoplay was on. Got me with the autoplay. Never safe, Mitchell. Out in the YouTube streets where it's never safe. How to blow on the OG.
Looking in the mirror, just telling myself to free more. God ain't taking cash.
Right, I'm gonna leave it. They're gonna hit me with the copyright. What's going on, gentlemen? And I use the word gentleman loosely, of course.
Coming at ya.
Coming at ya. The dog's getting upset. No, they're gonna hit me with the copyright.
She doesn't
bro.
like
At some point, I'll get in the booth and I'll whip something up, and I'll give Brian O'Shea a run for his money. Your thoughts?
Your thoughts on my thoughts? Your thoughts on my thoughts about your thoughts?
Your thoughts? Everyone now on every panel says your thoughts. It's interesting.
I'm guilty, man. I'm guilty. I do it sometimes.
Yep.
I catch myself.
Patty's rubbing off on everybody, whether they like him or not.
I want to get more Socratic in my communication styling. Is that something that you feel has value?
I mean, you'd have to first give me your understanding, because the problem we have oftentimes is folks will say these words or these terms and have their own understanding about what it is. So we have to come to a commonality or a commonplace on the understanding of the term first, to then decide if I see any value in it. So give me your example of what you would see as a Socratic method in conversation or debate.
Questions over statements and questions, really.
Yeah, I mean, I oftentimes incorporate an element of Socratic method as just presuming the most negative aspect to be true. Like they'll say, Paulie Boy's fat and poor and broke. And I go, okay. And he's got a small penis. I go, right, throw that on the list. Whatever. I go, none of that's going to change who and what I am as a man, right? How I live my life, the results that I get. That's like dependent upon myself and what I can create or co-create. So I have no problem arguing from the most negative, even false, objectively aspects, just to work back from that to a space that we can all understand or respect, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there are often times where I ask what I perceive to be or may be perceived as rhetorical questions because I perceive that I already know where it's going to go in the answer. And unless somebody throws something at me uncharacteristic of that loop, then we're going to run with that question and answer, period. So yeah, oftentimes when folks have a belief or a philosophy or an idea, they'll say, you think you're always right. No, I just presume you're always wrong. And if you can't compel me to believe or accept what you're saying to be true and correct, then I will continue to presume that it is incorrect, right? It's the same idea I take from Marco Aurelio, as the AI bot likes to pronounce it, Marcus Aurelius, God King, some might say, philosopher king. I'm being distracted because there's about 25 elk surrounding me right now. And it's a good vibe out here, right? Last night, the deer were out here. They came up on the porch. They ate with us. There's literally about 25 fucking humongous elk just surrounding this whole place eating. So yeah, you don't get that in your city and suburban toxified slave arena. A co-creation with the supernatural.
Can you move the
What was
camera?
I saying? What the fuck were we talking about?
Can we see some elk?
Let me see. I could do it with this. I'm not going to do the whole. Yeah, I'm not going to do the whole turnaround. Don't turn around. I'll give you my mobile. You can have the mobile me or nothing. That's all I'm offering.
Not now. At some point before you end,
I'm offering nothing else. Mobile me or nothing. It's the same thing I tell a lot of these women in chat. I go, you get to fuck me mobile or nothing at all. All right, you get to play with me through my mobile device. Hit you on my camera phone, on the camera phone. And pretty much you're going to show me everything. I'm going to show you little to nothing because I'm grotesque. And if you can't get along with that, then we're not even going to have that, right? But you don't get the whole me. Definitely not at once. Like not at first. You got to work up to that. You're not ready for it. Let's see. All right. Let me see if I can go mobile here. I got the most ghetto blanket up to cover the sun. It looks like Tommy's inside of his house. Right. I'm outside. He's inside, but it looks like his inside outside because I got blankets hanging to cover the sun so I can broadcast. It's the most ghetto looking thing ever. Bet the neighbors know my name, my name, my name. They're like, who the
either of
fuck is
those
out there yelling, broadcasting, smoking tons of weed, and he's got a big fucking blanket hung up on the roof. Son. They're like, yeah, the ghetto trash is down. What, Tom have a funeral? Someone Airbnb or what?
Why do you have a blanket up there again? Why do you say you have a blanket?
Son, fuckface. I just said it 3 times. This is why they say, why do you repeat shit? Sometimes I go, I have to repeat things. My audience is largely incompetent, incapable, and mismanaged in their time, energy, attention, and have little to no focus. If I don't repeat anything here, these folks will never hear anything. They'll go, who are you? Proof. Where did you come from? What happened? What are you doing?
That's proof. I was guilty. I'm guilty. I was reading the chat there.
Back camera.
You used to call me on it can only be one thing.
I don't know what you're doing, but it's kind of annoying even from over there.
All right. What's new?
You're like really good at being annoying without even trying.
Correct. Natural gift.
Can you see that, you slave?
Oh my god, dude. That's fucking amazing, bro. That's fucking incredible, bro. I gotta get out of Slaveville, suburbia. Fucking hey, man.
All right, that's all you get, man. They're gonna try to triangulate on me.
Yeah.
Black helicopters, the whole deal.
Deserted the fucking helicopters. Dude, I get black Apaches over my house.
On me.
I get black Apaches over my house weekly, man. They go right directly over my house. It's fucking incredible. It's very coincidental for a TI skeptic or whatever. Yeah, I'm probably just a theorist, so it's all good.
All right, where are we going with this? What do you got?
So I don't want to detract too much, but so if you have that on your roof, it must be fucking hot there. How hot is it there right now?
Dude,
I thought it was cold where you're at, but
you want a fucking weather report now? I gotta put a weather aspect to this broadcast. I already do breaking slave news. I can't fucking stand it.
With the Google News, man, you know, like OTW with the quality broadcasting excellence there with the Google News, where he just asks Google something and it basically produces his content for him. Fucking Alexa, whatever the fuck he uses there. Oh great, we got fucking nubs. Oh man. All right.
Don't do the great nubs thing like you're any better. Can't do that. It only works when I do that.
Thank you for addressing me by my proper title, Great Nubs.
Right.
I prefer Nibs. I forget who used to call you Nibs. Some other retard.
Who was that?
Who couldn't read. Someone from Dirty Larry's homeless encampment, presumably.
Oh what's he doing? Right, is he still around?
Speaking of homeless encampments, when are you gonna have me out and we'll build you a proper studio so you don't have to have shit on the roof?
I don't know, bro. You know me. I don't trust anybody. I'm already dealing with people who I met from online. You know, I just don't believe that they're agents as much as other people potentially. I don't know, bro. If you come here, you might have to do heroin in front of me. If you're gonna come here.
Yeah, I'm good on all that.
I'm not
bullshit.
gonna have it. I'm not gonna buy it. But someone's might just walk up and go, "You got to do this heroin." And if
I'll
you're not
smoke
gonna
some
do
weed
it,
with you while we're putting the house together.
That's pussy shit, dude. Come on, grow up, dude. Grow up.
They put agents on the payroll to smoke weed. Cut that bullshit out. That's legal.
Yeah, grow up, dude.
Yeah, if you're gonna meet me and deal with me, you're gonna have to do something really illegal. Like
I'll
probably
build a house
often
for
even.
you out of natural environmental products. That is illegal as it gets.
Yeah, I got to take you on a ride and vet you. Like you might have to shoot an Asian person. No offense. I know we got to stop
Yeah,
that.
I'm not
That
willing
wasn't
to go
dope.
out of
Don't
my.
do that.
I'm not
I like
willing to
that.
go
I
out
like
of
that.
my.
If
my
you're not willing to shoot an
conscious and-
Asian person in front of me, not even out of hate. Like I'm not for Asian hate. It's just something that you might have to do. Right? If you're not willing to do that, then you're probably an agent or heroin.
Probably.
If you're not willing to do heroin and shoot an Asian, you're probably an agent.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know, man. At some point, I'll when I get more focused or more situated, because it's kind of been a long game thing, right? It seems it's going to take years potentially to have this thing where it's going to be functional, but it's on its way. Everybody's kind of at a certain spot at this point. Everybody has their own dwelling. There's apparently going to be water and power shortly, and then of course we have solar set up. So,
And see, that's where I'm really interested in. That's the research that I've been doing.
Bro, you realize I'm hooking all this shit up looking at YouTube, right? I'm just hooking all this shit up. It worked. Hooked all this shit up and it works. You don't have to be a rocket surgeon, I guess.
Dude, this dude Arpole
Rocket
gets on
surgery
me.
is important.
What are you going to charge me? What are you going to charge me for like 1,000 square foot cabin with like 2 rooms and a bathroom?
For 2 rooms and a bathroom, are you helping me build it?
Yeah, as in like I'll broadcast from the side and motivate you, and you'll kind of do the rest. I'll do what I can. I'll always
If we
be
build
like
it my
there.
way, probably not much. If we build it to code, well, that's a different story.
Oh, I don't give
My
a
way
fuck
is
about any of that.
10 times.
I just make sure it
All right.
doesn't like fucking fall in on me, or there's not like any bugs.
Well, I'm
just
not going
crawling
to kill
into-
you.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have to bring OSHA in and make sure there's fire caulking and whatever else.
Yeah, we can have that conversation. I don't necessarily want to do it because the price I'd give you is definitely different than the price I'd give,
everyone knows
Mitchell
that,
or
bro.
somebody.
I mean, they're not going to get offended by that. I'm me. I'm the enslaved one, not just some, regular old slave. Like, yeah, you could argue, you're getting like multiple days and weeks with me. That's like you might have to owe
Value
me
for
by
value.
the end of that. Yeah.
Would you charge me more or less?
Oh, way more.
Definitely more.
Like I would tell him to charge you more, and if he didn't, I wouldn't let him build my shit.
I don't even get to eat the next 2 days, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah, you're not
No,
going to
you
get
wouldn't be
anywhere with
eating for a
sympathy
month.
here. If you're looking for sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
That's like,
Great stuff.
Not
Great
going to be able
stuff.
to eat for the next 2 days. He's like a supermodel over there. Like he eats anything. He eats 3 pieces of rice. And he's good to go for the day. Like he can't come up in a modern day city or suburb with a fucking meal somehow. Give me a break.
oh, I could go down to the food bank, but
Dude, I had a guy from DARPA hit me up. You could totally blow some guy from DARPA. He'll throw you like a Jibo.
I got a package of.
They're making good money over there, and they got marital problems, a lot of them. So I mean, you come along with that sad, feminine look of yours, and you blow them real good. They'll throw you a stack.
I just
That's
don't
at least like 4. That's like 8 weeks of food for you.
or like ramen noodles. Have you ever seen that? I think it's called under scope. No, that I don't think it's.
Dude, you would eat that shit. You
But
think
the
I'm gonna eat?
ramen-
I don't
this
even eat
guy-
ramen noodles in prison.
This guy shows ramen noodles and all kinds of food and stuff, but the ramen noodles he shows under a microscope they have like mites and shit. It fucking
Yeah, I
grosses
wouldn't
me
eat that shit. Not even in jail would I eat that shit.
I thought you
Fucking
didn't go to.
animals
make
eat
the
ramen.
ramen noodle
That shit's
burrito.
like styrofoam, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
they
ever
would
see
eat
that
that shit.
ramen like before they cook it? It's like some kind of building materials.
Dude, I would always
That's what I
tell
was
them
gonna
too.
build your house on.
Not bunky, dude. Like you're eating
Why do I always
styrofoam.
get this rap? What happened to the trailer? Like, what makes you think something had to happen to it? I hope nothing happened to it. It's sitting on a fucking land where I'm going back to. You'll see me there shortly with the telltale background. Didn't go anywhere. Just don't believe the hype that all these clowns online tell. Paulie boy, he couldn't afford the trailer. His daddy had to buy it, and then he lost it because he pawned it for heroin, and he's living off Jennifer and blah blah blah. Cut the games. Tommy's still telling lies about me doing heroin in a tent. That was 2 years ago when I stopped heroin 8 years ago. Cut the fucking games. Wasn't sitting in the tent with money doing heroin. I was sitting in the tent with money trying to figure out why I had money and still didn't feel completely like me. Hello? Does that resonate with anyone? So not everyone's like you, down to their last fucking penny, sitting in a hovel in Denver thinking that they've achieved something. Some folks may take 10 or 20 stacks to a tent to try to figure out what the fuck they're going to do with the rest of their life because it just ain't cutting it, money or not. Get it? No, you don't get it because you wouldn't know what it's like to live like that, telling me I'm spoiled. How does that make me spoiled? That I fucking got up for six days a week at least at 4 a.m. and worked 12 to 14-hour days for over a year and a half straight. And then took the proceeds and said to myself, I'm a solar installer at this point out of a fucking Job Corps program, not a Job Corps. What do they call that shit when you stand out front of the line like a Puerto Rican and they fucking give you a job for the day and they give you $80?
Home Depot.
Yeah, it starts off as that. What the fuck was this shit called? MTS, bro. You want the official name? There it is. MTS Colorado. Look it up. It's a staffing agency. You go there, they take a third of your fucking paycheck every day at least. They give you what's the rest of it over, and then they expect you to pay for a fucking broom and a helmet to use on the job site. That's how ghetto they are. They're like, yeah, you got to go work on a construction site. You're going to need something to cover your head. So give us $10 and we'll give you this shitty fucking helmet. And then you show up there every day. You wait for 2 hours before they take you somewhere, and then you work on a job site. So it winds up being like a 14-hour fucking day, and you got to be out there at 4 a.m. in the fucking wintertime waiting online like a crackhead. So that's a motherfucker who really wants it because they got no other choice, and they're going to work themselves into position. And by the time they work themselves into position, they realize there's no position they can work themselves into in the system to feel at home. That's just me. Especially when they started telling me you're going to cover your face and take you know what. And I told all the rest of the slaves on the line, you're going for this? And I started a big riot there one day, right? And they said, you're the cause for this. You're the reason. You're trying to get all these people. You're fucking up our bit. I said, why? Because I'm the only outspoken motherfucker on a line of 20 bitch-ass males who come here to collect a check every day and are willing to risk their soul and their life. Give me a fucking break. I'm your daddy. That's what I had to tell them down there. Same thing I tell them on here. They said, you're probably going to be gone out of here because you just started a whole fucking riot here today on the line at 4 a.m. because we told you you're going to cover your face and take you know what. And I told them months before it happened, I saw where it was going. And I told the lady, go ask him. I said, are you going to do this? Because she started with me one day about me smelling like reefer or something else and trying to play like she was a government agent on me. I said, are you going to do this when they force us to cover our face and take you know what? She said, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, you'll see. And when that day came, I went off on everybody. I almost started a riot there. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. And half the people said, Paulie boy was telling us this 6 months ago and telling us what he was going to do and not do when the day came. And now it's here and we're bitched the fuck up. Right. So now I was already on my way out of there anyway. And I know when I'm not wanted, and I usually take my leave at that point. When I ascertain that I'm not wanted or respected and valued, and more importantly, the truth is not valued in that relationship or that organization, I'm usually the first person out the door because I don't need nothing from you and with you. You're a detraction and a demeaning of who and what I am and what I'm here to do. So that's why I, at a certain point, moved in with somebody else, kept working, downsized my situation, lived within my means, and started stacking. And I was already stacking, and it was probably 4 months in between because I just went around it, and they didn't force it on me. They weren't really forcing it on anyone else. Everyone was just complying. So I wouldn't comply. I'd argue with them every day. I tell them I'm not doing it, and because rightfully they couldn't really fire me or whatever else. But I saw where it was going. If I continued there, it was going to be more problems, and they were going to get rid of me. right? So I didn't go to the tent to do heroin. I wasn't doing heroin at the time, far from it. I was getting people off heroin, taking walks around the street. I got 2-3 other people employed who were on heroin. And I told them, get your fucking act together, just like I talk to people on here, out front of the weed store every day. I saw them begging me for money. I said, bitch ass motherfucker. Then I had to pull up my sleeves and show him, do you see track marks there? He goes, I don't know, maybe not. I go, exactly. I used to shoot up 10 times a day. So maybe they're there, maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe the scars are left over. Here's the bottom line. You need to get your bitch ass up and go over there where I do every day in the morning and get a fucking job. Stop asking me for money on the way to and from working a 14-hour day to get me some reefer on my time off. So he got up off his fucking ass and started working. What he did with that was another story, as is predictable, because he really didn't want it. He thought he was going to shoot dope on the job and all the rest of it, and I'm sure it didn't end well. I was out of there before I saw the ending of it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you guys are going to tell my story as your story, you need to do a better job. If you're going to tell your story as my story, you need to do a better job. One way or the other. Your thoughts on any of that? I don't know how we got onto that. It's about me, I. That's probably what it was.
That's you.
Yeah, you are pretty narcissistic,
That's me.
Egoic, if I may say so
Absolutely.
myself.
Absolutely.
I'd like
That's you.
to just get back to
Who
you,
starts a
Paul.
broadcast and does it to talk about them and their experience, right? No, they start a broadcast to talk to every other person who's broken, lost, and confused, or has a drug history or broken family history. So just because everyone has a voice, right? That's the same reason that folks like start drug counseling and start fellowships, and because you're like, we really want to hear from everybody, just in their intransigence. Everybody has a voice. Come on in. No, it doesn't work that way. Some folks have an understanding and a way for them. They believe it works for others. If you work it, if not, you're gone. You can call that egotistical and narcissistic, or you can call it living into some level of purpose and meaning. It's really subjective. Kind of like Fight Club. If I open a Fight Club here and I say, stand in the rain, bitch ass motherfucker, you're not coming in. And then at some point I let you in and then kick you to fuck back out at some point, you really can't argue with me. You can say it's twisted, it's dysfunctional, it's strange. We don't know what this all is. I didn't force you to come here. I didn't force you to stay. And all I did was promise you the truth of who and what I am while you were here, for whatever that's worth. So, some folks may look at it as a fraternity. Some folks may look at it as a secret society. Some folks may look at it as a metaversal fight club. It may be all those things and none of those things. Because I think within those things is a theme, an idea, a philosophy that comes forth through firsthand experience and understanding, if that makes sense. Your thoughts, Emmanuel? Do you got anything?
No, I see it the same, it's almost like a metaversal house we come to where, I always say it's like a dojo of sorts. We come here to exercise something, and it's a place where I take it just like any other place, a job, or anywhere where if I'm of service, I'm there. If I'm not, I'm gone. So that's how I leave it, and that's
a good attitude to have. And it's not necessarily in service to me. I think at times it looks like that, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for folks to be in service of the whole, right? And I'm a facilitator or co-creator of that with whoever is willing and able, more importantly. So you got to have both, right? Willing and able. And again, you could argue that the willingness comes first, the ability comes over time. It's a practice.
Yeah, at some point you got to stand under something, right? Or understand. Or try to understand, or come to reason.
Well, that's where a lot of the resistance comes in. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, this is not standing under me. This is standing under an idea that I'm standing under. So you're standing under it with me. I may be the head of that portal, right, or that oracle, if you will, because that's what this becomes, right, or that's what this starts off and continues as and ends as, right. I rise and fall with me because of me and what I do. Right, that can't be dependent upon anybody else, and that can't be detracted from by anybody else. It can only be shared in the experience or added onto, as far as I perceive. And when that's not the case, when it's not being shared in or added onto, I just jettison that beingness. That's not a personal attack on the person. It just means I don't align with you and I don't resonate with you, and there's probably going to have to be some things done on your end for that to happen, because I don't perceive it as a detriment on my end. It's a choice. Right. And then again, some folks have argued that the choices I've made may have detrimental impacts on me long term. I don't necessarily deny that. I tend to be a person who learns the hard way in life. So knowing my history and my pattern, I completely leave it open to some folks have some truth for me. I just find oftentimes that it's a detraction from who and what I am and what I'm doing to hyper focus on that more than necessary. Because I've kind of heard it all before. I've seen a lot of it before, and I've played with it in the past. And I believe that I know what it all amounts to one way or the other. And then the rest is just going to be time and history and learning or proving of concepts.
I can't even add to that.
You may not have to add to that, right? Sometimes the silence is good. I've noticed in this, right? There's a burden on me at times to fill the silence. At other times, it just feels the silence is right. But
I
again,
think a
that's a
part of me,
subjective.
a part of me
Right.
that you know what, a part of me that is drawn to this place is your ability to speak so fluidly. That's something that I could sound like the best person on paper, but in a live venue with the nerves racing and things like that, well, then I get pressed to sound a little silly, maybe, right? And outwardly, that might look like, oh, this we got him, or he's stupid or he's unintelligent, but it's just something that like you said, if you could imitate, that's the best form of flattery. I'm not trying to imitate, but I could learn from that, I guess, right? By hanging
Yeah, but
around
what
with
is the
people.
deeper understanding? The deeper understanding of being able to speak with rapidity and fluidity is a comfortability with oneself and the moment. So you
Right.
ain't going to be able to fake speaking with rapidity and fluidity from the heart or just from what you see or imagine without being first at a place of comfortability with self, whatever that means, right? Time, the moment, the results, the outcome. So you got to kind of work toward that. That's kind of what I've told people who've come to me with that rap. They go, well, one of, if not the only thing we see valuable in you is the way you speak or the ability to speak without too much and I go, yeah, that's a practice. That comes from the everyday practice. Right. And then they'll say, well, he's just a good speaker because he's from New York and he's used to bullshitting and hustling. Well, maybe. I mean, maybe that's part of the practice, right? If you're on the street every day and you're interacting with folks and they're trying to bullshit you and you got to bullshit them before they bullshit you, it gets you quick on your feet, thinking on your feet. But again, I prefer being thoughtless. That's why I say there's a difference between a person who's a hustler in the sense of a deceiver and a bullshitter versus someone who's a hustler who's directed their energy to create an experience for a result and an outcome. Right? It's like the guy who comes from New York with what he's learned and applies it to something authentic to himself, more truly and more productive and more beneficial for himself and everybody, right? So like you see that guy who goes to sell that cleaning product, that black dude. I don't know if you've seen him, right? He'll sell that product to anybody because he's able to speak to you straight from who and what he is and what he's experienced. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about. Maybe I'll pull him up. There's this black dude who pretty much came out of nowhere, is what I understand,
With
and
the
he
radio
sells this
announcer
one.
voice.
Yeah, well, I don't. No, that's the other guy. I know who you're talking about. I believe the older guy. There's a younger guy who sells his cleaning product. Right. I'm gonna bring him up. Fuck it. See if I get hit with
I
copyright.
mean, I
I'm so
encounter
fucked up.
I encounter
ahead.
people like that on a daily basis. Take a stroll down the mall and you'll find some black guy trying to sell some shoe cleaner that if you let them rap to you too much, they'll get you caught up and you'll end up buying something. It's the name of the
Right,
game.
but the reality of it is, bro, does anybody really give a fuck about the cleaning product? I'm gonna say, what's in it, bro? It's some lime extract, this, that, and the third. Is not gonna kill the dog. Okay, great. What do you want for it? Is it a little bit too much than the average, or can we work it? Okay, the man's selling himself. Who's not going to buy cleaner from somebody who they can feel or be entertained by, knowing the man's out there trying to make a living? He ain't stealing your catalytic converter. The majority of good, equitable people need a cleaning product anyway. If they get it from somebody who they enjoy, who entertains them, who enriches their life, the more the better. If it's a good product and it works, even better. It's a win-win-win. But I'm saying that's sales 101. You don't sell a product, you sell yourself. The best way to sell yourself is just be real, who and what you are, and authentic, and have a rap. You're far from bullshitting anybody. If you ask my father what I learned from him, he was one of the better salesmen after a certain point. He didn't bullshit anybody. It was quite the opposite. He'd walk in and go, listen, you need advertising. That's how this game works. Do you want it or not? If you want it, this is the bottom line. This is the best I can do with making $100 extra, whatever. He goes, I'm going to work on essentially writing up this whole town and making $100 off each of you. He goes, if you think you paying $300 or whatever it is a month isn't going to return to you in yellow pages and Google ads, you're probably an idiot. So he just lay it out to you. You need advertising, whether you know it or not. Everyone who's the best in this game has advertising. Why wouldn't you sell yourself in a venue where you can get more eyes on you and your product, right? There's no bullshitting going on there. And obviously, if you offer somebody the advertising and you say, listen, I'll give you the advertising for the next month. We're going to track the clicks and the ads to see how much sales we generated for you. If we generate 3 times what you pay, are you not in a better position? Yes. Okay, let's run it. How does that person lose? If nothing, they get a month free advertising. It costs Yellow Book and Google barely nothing. All they did was put up a fucking picture or something and some words, right? And if they make this motherfucker 2 or 3 times the amount in advertising, he's going to be a customer for life. That's how you do good business.
You create a win-win, right? That's what I believe good business is about.
You make a win for everybody.
Right.
If everybody's eating, then everybody's eating. What's the problem? You far from got to bullshit people in order to just have a good product or service and make it work, give results, and then put it on the person and say, what do you want to do next? And half the time, if people didn't want to buy the shit because they were too cheap, they didn't see the bigger vision, or they had their mama at home involved, or they wanted to put it on her. Oh, my wife. That's how you know an unsuccessful bitch-ass motherfucker is a man running a business who's going to talk about his wife being any kind of a visionary in that venue if she's not meant to be that. And I'd say it's few and far between women who are meant to step into a role of a man and do what a man does. Not going to happen. So that goofy bitch should know her place. When you come to her, she should say, I don't want nothing to do with that. You're the man. You're the leader, baby. You take over. You take charge. Get us somewhere. That's a good woman. Not a woman who's going to spend an extra $300 a month on advertising because she wants to go out and eat and get her fucking goofy hair and nails done. Suck my dick. That's what you tell her. If she even tries to play that game. Because she's not in it for the long haul. She's not in it for what's bigger and better. She's in it for the quick, easy, and cheap. That's not good business. That's not a good relationship. That's not a power couple. That's not anything that looks like an ethic that leads to results. So, at times it just is what it is, man. That's why we say that on the East Coast. I don't have to bullshit you to get you to buy this advertising. I'm going to show you better results than you already got if you take the walk with me. If you can't live in trust and equity, well, then there's nowhere to go anyway, because I'm going to get you results, and then you're going to want more and act like it was my fault you didn't get it. Because after a certain point, you got to sell yourself with your product. If your product and service ain't shit, Yellow Book can't help you. Google can't help you. They can only get you the clientele. They can't get you the hot product.
Mr. McGee says, has Cynthia lost weight? Oh, never mind. That's just Mitchell.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, man.
Your thoughts?
In a cult with
Other than how fat Cynthia is today?
Oh, man, we lost Nubs. Dude, please come back, sir. Please, brother. Yeah, I was hoping we could get into some of that stuff I was mentioning over there on OTWs, because I don't necessarily have anyone in my life or on the internet. Well, a couple people on the internet, but you're one of them who I would be very curious to pick your brain about. And then also to
right.
go
So
over
why don't you spend way more time doing that instead of talking about how fat Cynthia is?
All right, we won't talk about Porky Pig no more.
Yeah, this is like that thing where you meet a woman. She's like, I'm really interested to show you how good I can fuck you. And then doesn't do it and spends the rest of the time wasting our time. So it's like, you say that and I'm into that, but we can't get to that because you want to talk about your cat and how fat Cynthia is, how funny your friend Karen is. She's not funny. You get me? Just stick with that. Just stick with that. Just run with that. Don't even bring in the other nonsense. Just leave the funny to me. Takes all the burden off you, right? You can do better broadcast, and it takes all the burden off you.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to Cotflix.
Hey, did anybody see Cotflix recent? It's Jack in the Box. you see that little short
When is that from?
from Copflix? He dropped it like a couple days ago. It was a little short.
What?
No, I must have seen it. I see everything.
Jack in the Box.
Everything Copflix puts out, I get the first screening of.
Are you sure? You might want to check this one out.
I don't know. I might have to check it out, bro. Oh, this is your boy.
And beat it like Michael Jackson. That's why your neighbor said I remind him of Nicolas Cage because I'm gone in 60 seconds. But watch this right here, Dad. Look, who does this the most?
Oh yeah, I seen this dude.
The ones that are ugly black guys that eat fried chicken. Now you see these water spots? Look, they get whiter than my elbows without lotion. Watch this, Dad.
This guy could sell sand to an Arab.
Believe it. And I got a disease called enthusiasm, so I'm gonna cut straight to the mustard. Watch this though. Don't laugh too hard because the neighbors gonna see this black kid scrubbing your window. Okay, but look, wax on, wax off like Mr. Miyagi. Remember the Karate Kid? Now watch this. They air dry. Look, it puts some coating on your window. No water spots, no fingerprints, no streaks. That's why we can't sell it to criminals. Don't tell OJ or Tiger Woods. Okay, they've been loving this stuff. Now, Dad, y'all, you and Mom, y'all would agree. Oh my God, you see this right here? Who did that? Who did that? Okay, watch this. Now, my mom said if it's darker than me and it don't pay the bills, it shouldn't be there, right? God bless you. Now, look, this right here, we just upgraded like Beyonce. This is our new surfactant. Hold this and watch this, because this should be the main reason why you get the HBO special. You know what HBO means? No. You get to help a brother out. Yeah, I've been on the road like toilet paper. Half of your neighbors in the community, they said they just go get it because I'm funny, because this stuff sells itself. Look, you just go back and forth like an argument. Now, I ain't Jesus, but look how I split that like Moses did the Red Sea. Paint me green, call me a pickle. And look at this right here, look. Goes good with chicken. Don't drink it, though, it'll give you the Hershey squirts. But look, that one bottle lasts longer than my last relationship. Y'all got water, right? Yeah. High five, you qualify to use it. Oh, yeah, Mom. Now, this is my last demo, and I'm out your hair quicker than your favorite shampoo. Y'all familiar with these right here, Sharpies? Yeah. Now, watch this. Even though I'm black, it ain't black magic. It just works. Because, look, say you got this in the clothes or the carpets or the laundry. Would you agree that's hard to get out? Probably. Would you throw it out, shout it out, get OJ to stab it out, Mike Tyson to bite it out, Kobe Bryant to...
Oh, okay. You were done.
It was a multiple choice funny joke. Because you know you can't put bleach on colors, right? Sure. Look at this. This is safe on colors. That's why we couldn't sell it to Sammy Sosa. But look, you just spray the spray, right? Now, this right here takes out ink, blood, coffee stains, grass stains, Kool-Aid, lipstick, gum glue, candle wax. Would you say that's whiter than the Colgate Smile? Now, oh my goodness. You see that? Should I use it on my teeth? It ain't Jesus in the bottle. I use mine, they turn brown. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you just use it on for your house. What's the hardest thing to clean? Would it be carpet, the tile, barbecue grills, the shower doors?
All right, so I think you get where we're going here. Again, there's a bit of a rap, but he's also kind of humble with humility. He's keeping it real, playing off stereotypes, and getting these folks to invest in him, right? If the product works, the product works. It might replace something else that's toxified, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how we got onto that. But I kind of like the way that guy moves. I like the energy he brings. And I think that he's got a successful business model that has little to no overhead. It's him in the bottle and what he can produce or co-create. Right. So who's not going to give him the fucking $10 for the bottle and just use that shit instead of whatever crap you're already using?
I couldn't agree more. When I go to a customer's house to give them a bid for a fence, they could buy a fence from anybody. They could go down to the fucking store and get the wood and buy the fence. They don't buy the fence. They purchase me. There's no way around it.
But you can automatically see what kind of energy that creates in somebody once they learn that they are everything they need. See? Right. You know, if you are everything you need internally first and foremost, then this is just extras. Right? So that kind of energy, that kind of confidence, that kind of momentum and rap is hard to not be seduced by, in quotes, because seduction doesn't always necessarily have to be a deceptive, negative thing, right? There's a lot of folks in life who want to be seduced, right? Like Cher would tell you. So again, if you're not manipulating, if you're not deceiving, and you're bringing people on a journey, right, and it makes them feel something, and they want to invest in you and who and what you are and what you do, that's a beautiful process, as long as the product is what you say it is and it works. And that's going to be dependent upon the purchaser, right? Because then they're going to take in whatever you have and whoever you are, and they're going to apply it and see, does this work or not? And if it doesn't, then you're going to get a bad reputation in business. Nobody's going to want to fuck with you after a certain amount of time.
And reputation is a lot. Like, that's where people hold your trust, right? Through your reputation. Once you tarnish that,
That's what I try to tell
downhill.
them on here, bro. I can act out and jump out the window, but my reputation and integrity is what solidifies me or is going to break me, just like them. And they don't understand. They've already tarnished that. Like, if you don't work, your product doesn't work. We can start there. You know,
Yeah,
so how are you going to sell yourself when you can't point to value and results? It's foolishness. So I don't care if it's conscious and awareness or a cleaning product. You better be able to show somebody something that they can apply and get results with. If not, and you start lying, and you start padding your ego and your false reputation, and you start clutching and grifting, you're tarnishing your shit. This is why I tell people, when I started this, I was only in it for the game and the understanding and the true value. I'm still only in it for the game, the understanding, and the true value. The difference was people were knocking down my door to give me shit. You motherfuckers on here don't have the same experience. And that's not me being egotistical and prideful. It's just telling it how it is. So when you come in it for the right reason, you do what's true and what's right, people will knock down your fucking door after a certain point when they get results, trying to give you a piece of the value they got from you. If that ain't your experience, you're clutching, you're lying to yourself and everyone, and you're grifting. And that's the difference. And don't think that when you show up with the energy you show up with, we don't just read it off you from the get-go. You really don't believe in you. You really not on a movement. You really don't have results. So what the fuck makes you think the rest of us who know what that looks and feels like is going to listen to you or take you with any credibility? Worse yet, what makes you think any of us are going to give you shit? It just is what it is. That's what I had to learn for me. So why would it be different for anyone else?
No, I've come to learn that myself too. You know, I kind of almost was at a point in my life where I felt like I found a bucket of pearls and I was just casting them everywhere. And then I realized, you know, I have nothing to show or back up the value of these pearls, right? People are going to look at them and be like, this guy's just giving out pearls. Who's to say if they're fake or not, right? And who's he? What is he? Where does he come from? What's his background? You know, what does he
Bro,
have to
my
show for
father
us?
came to me with that energy and perspective from day one, all my life. He told me, he goes, you're talking all this truth and law and the rest of it. When are you going to show me something real? And I asked him, what's real to you? And I already knew what he was going to say, money. And that kind of hurt my heart because I said, bro, you don't see the bigger picture. You don't see I'm sacrificing my life at times for something bigger and better than just money. And guess what? You know, he's now the person who, once you show him the court results, once you show him the results with the system, who was too big to fail, too big to fight, quote unquote, right? Who wouldn't observe the truth, and you show them some money, they got nothing to say no more. And they still haven't changed their tune. So all he did was get me right. If you really want to look at it, it hurt my heart at the time and caused me to self-doubt initially till I moved past that and continued doing what was true and what's right, convicted in my heart. So you have to learn. You may be looking for validation and acceptance by motherfuckers you're never going to get it from, even after you show them more of what the fuck they asked for. And then you got, you know, that's when it solidifies. That's when it clarifies what the real dynamic is. Go ahead.
Yeah, daddy's supposed to get right. You don't have to agree with him 100%. He's just supposed to get you right. And I've encountered that experience with my dad myself. You know, there's a lot of things that my dad rapped to me about that I didn't at first agree with, but once I got out of my, you know, emotional moment of disagreement and applied practically what he was trying to bestow upon me, you know, when it comes to, you know, things that we could practice in our lives and apply, you know, in a practical sense in our lives, you know, that's when I was like, oh, okay. And once I got it my way, you know, he kind of did the same thing. He's like, well, unless you're doing this with it, you ain't right with it. But, you know, years came to pass and he realized, you know, my son actually is on a projected path that excels me. And he's told me that he's excelled, you know, and now I kind of like, that kind of gave me the push to go even further and say, you know, I gotta do this for daddy now, you know, almost.
And that's one of the processes that I would like to have with my father, but he can't get out of his own way to observe the truth like a lot of folks can. So I just let it be that, bro. I forgive them. They know not what they do. They're playing themselves. You ain't playing me. You ain't playing the universe and everybody else who shows up here. You're playing yourself, bro. You make yourself look bad. So again, when a motherfucker gives you what you need to get you right and it hurts your heart, whatever, you take that and you move forward. But then there comes a time when they have to realize they've been working on getting you right so much they forgot to get themselves right first. See?
I had the same conversation with my 13-year-old son last night, literally. He was talking about, well, can I feel something? I said, you can feel anything you want. What are you producing? You know, and obviously there's a lot of context missing and not going to be given. Nevertheless, I appreciate this
right, and you got to make sure, bro, that you boil that shit down, because that could fuck up a child in the sense of putting them the other way, to making him think the only thing about life that matters is what you produce, and produce could have a corporate appeal to it, right? So it's kind of about
That's
what you direct that energy to. Right. Because for a child, they're going to go research what the fuck you said and think that means go get a job and only that, and produce a whole bunch of money and go, look, dad, look at me. I'm producing. I'm the highest salesman at the whatever firm and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to go, I think we missed the point somewhere. So, you know, producing to a motherfucker could look like them going out into the forest and creating a painting, right? Or a musical piece, you know, or a broadcast or whatever else. So we can't neglect the creative aspect of production. Because guess what? The majority of you slaves who are running to chase money every day are going to spend it with somebody who produced something actually and created something actually, not just produced results in a monetary sense or in a product or service sense, right? They created an experience that you can't get anywhere else, not even inside yourself. They created some kind of an artistic piece or some kind of an experience, right? Physical or non-physical, that you can't even get within yourself at times. So isn't that not more valuable? You could argue art is equally, if not more valuable in a culture and society than any productive corporate mechanism. Because art is what keeps people grounded. Art is what keeps people questioning. Art is what keeps people philosophizing.
That's the context that I was using in his production, in context to that conversation. It wasn't necessarily that he's not producing anything physically. I'm talking about a mental state. You know, he was talking about being in his feelers versus I told him that he needs to be more considerate of what is going to happen as a result of being in those feelers.
Right. You got to take that feeling, that pain, that whatever, and you got to transmute it and transcend it, and you got to produce something with it. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying what I know about my father and the rest of these people is they missed the point with me because they were communicating something that was applicable in all the wrong ways for me at that time. Right. I don't think that I was ever meant to be working at a warehouse or on an assembly line or being the highest salesman, whatever RT says. He should be a salesman at a boardroom. He'd be making millions. He'd be running shit. I'm meant for that, but I'm not. Right. It's like going to the tent to tell the shaman that he's going to join the rest of the folks in their day-to-day activity. It's just not who and what I am. Never really has been. I'm an outcast. I'm an outlier. I sit with myself in the universe and I work it out. Pretty or not. Right. So that's what I've seemingly been formed to do from the beginning here. And I see immense value and purpose in that now. Did I at the time? No. Because everyone told me you're different from everyone else. You seem dysfunctional and twisted and this, that, and the third. I go, have you looked around at yourself and everyone else first before doing this game with me? Because the reason I am this way is precisely because one was predetermined before the other. So it's because of your sickness and twistedness and disconnection from what is supernatural that I was almost forced to go into a cocoon of sorts to come out as a butterfly to tell you all the good news. You don't have to live like this no more. You never really had to. So again, everything has its purpose, its place, its function under the creation. Oftentimes it's misunderstood by the individual perspective and what the common practice is. What I like to call mind control, heart control, slavery, cult of culture. That's part of one of the aspects of corrupt leadership. If you had true leadership from top down, bottom up, with your parents, your teachers, your administrations, these people like me would be selected for their predetermined qualifications with the universe, and they would be fostered to be put in a position in culture and society that would benefit themselves and everyone. We're not. We're marginalized. We're projected onto. We're persecuted. We're given diagnosis. We're coerced and duressed away from the group and to be put on drugs because we're just not quite like the rest of everyone else, as if that wasn't a virtue as much as it is a detriment to your false power system. Give me a fucking break. You're the same fucking corporate slaves that quit your job every day and fucking undo your tie and go listen to a motherfucker that lived exactly how I lived most of my life. On drugs, trying to work it out, trying to pursue a lifestyle that was above and beyond the rest of these small town clowns and cowards. What you call the rock star lifestyle. I just applied it to conscious and awareness, not fucking bitches getting money.
That's why I always wonder, man, like what? Go ahead, Mitch.
Go ahead. I'll just say.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Go ahead. Fuck it, I'll go. I think a lot of dads fall short because they fail to pass the torch. And my idea is, if they really did a good job as a father, and a leader, then naturally the offspring is going to become better than them, and they can learn from the offspring. That's what I really.
Bro, we
as
can
a
learn
father,
from
that's what I
creation.
want.
That's the thing motherfuckers don't get. We come through our parents. We don't come from them.
Right.
So there's a universal portal, if you will, first and foremost. So everything in creation can be learned from. And that's precisely the problem, is that some places the parents want to let the kids run the household and the show when they got nothing to offer. And other
Right.
places, they don't want to let them lead because they're leading beyond where the rest haven't gone.
Yeah, as a father, that's the only thing I could wish for my offspring, for them to excel more than I could, or than I did in this life.
Yep.
That's all I could really ever hope for, and it would be a disappointment to see that they don't. So, that's when I kind of snapped out of it and I said, I got to get over what's going on with my baby moms and take control of what's in my kids' lives, because it's apparent that she is not gonna, offer what was supposed to be in the best interest for them so that they could excel in that way. And I'm kind of dealing with fixing, a lot of what was,
Isn't it
conditioned
the
into
father's job to do?
exactly.
No,
And that's why
don't
you
get
can
me
never.
wrong. Like, I've got a baby mama and everything too. However, it's not her job to teach him how to be a man that is productive, not just in a financial avenue, but productive in life as a whole. That's
Correct.
not her job.
Right, a holistic
Her job-
being, left and right brain intelligent, masculine and feminine aspects. This
Right.
is a holistic being. This is a whole being, right? Who's not constantly going through life looking for their other half and completion with people, places, and things. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
and
It's seeking completion within oneself. The only way to be truly successful is to seek completion within oneself. If not, you'll be an infractuated beingness and consciousness.
Right. And part of what I want has to be backed up with how I am. And if I'm not that example for them, to use as a stepping stone of sorts to take it further in life, then then I'm just kind of peeing in the into the wind, so to speak. I'm not really doing nothing for them to help them in their future, other than just having them around as my second hand or third hand.
But listen, bro, this is where, again, there's a systemic creational teaching, which is more showing. Nothing can be taught. It can only be shown. And that's why the man in the Robert De Niro clip said, children do what they see. They replicate what they see.
Mhm.
They're not listening to what you say. They do what they're shown. So you got a lot of motherfuckers talking a lot of shit who aren't living that information. So the children are just going to do what you show them. They're not going to listen to the information and try to extrapolate and interpret it. Why would they? That'd be foolish. Right? And then that's oftentimes the disconnect between false authority and false power and a true initiate. Is you're trying to tell me to do what you say I need to do, but I'm watching you and what you do. So either you want me to follow you and do what you do, or you want me to do what you say I'm supposed to do. Child ain't going to respond to that. Child ain't going to respect that. Child ain't going to find trust and security with that. And a bitch ain't either. Excuse me, my lingo for being triggering, but I'm just trying to get down to it, right? For these men, I'm doing that for the men when I do that. Excuse me, ladies, right? I'm getting to the point of, if you're going to be a real man and call yourself a real man, then you're going to have to lead within yourself and complete within yourself. Don't expect a woman and child to follow you where you haven't gone yet.
100%. It's monkey see, monkey do with the children. They copy everything and they learn it that way the quickest. So you gotta watch what you say, watch what you do, and if you want to teach them, you got to teach by example first and foremost before you start telling them don't do this, don't do that. I'm not a person where I could tell my kids don't smoke weed, don't do it, you know, because I'm a person that's actively smoking weed, you know.
Bro, these males will do the same shit with their women. I've seen it. And then I got to call them out in front of the woman and them. And then it gets real hairy because I go, why are you telling this woman to do some shit you don't do? Why are you telling her to do, you know, why are you trying to instill some game that you haven't worked out and prove concept of? That's that false pimping. That's that false proper instruction demotivates people, right? And winds up leading to distrust. You want to give some goofy bitch some game you haven't worked out and wonder why everything's going to wind up fucked up and collapsing. Or you give them no game at all because you got no proof of concept and no firsthand experience of the otherworldly. Everything else you're going to give her, she can get from another bozo. That's the whole point.
100%.
Same thing, your child's going to have the same perspective about you. Anything you're going to tell them and show them, they can get from the neighbor's fucking daddy. You ain't shit at some point. Sorry, that's going to be the reality. Your son's going to go from you being the biggest hero to you being the biggest bozo and clown and just like everybody else because you got nothing to show and tell beyond what the fuck we saw at little Jimmy and Johnny's house. The same old weak ass shit.
Right. You know, and I'd rather be the one teaching my kid anything regarding the streets than anybody he could, you know, get close to and learn it from, you know, because there's a lot of bozos out in the streets that these kids could, you know, potentially be attracted to and start taking example from. So,
and on TV, bro, don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
The biggest source of detraction from parenting at this point is media because they're going to put a whole bunch of bozos in your face, just like I'd have to confront if I had a child. We're going to have conversations at times or I'm going to have to stop doing it when it comes to listening to music with an imagery that starts to upload to the subconscious that this child's path in life is to be doing this kind of behavior, right? So you have to really be clear about the fine line between art imitating life and vice versa and entertainment. And there may be some truth and authenticity in it and even some reflection upon a real experience, but it cannot overlay into what you create in yourself today and your life going forward, right? It's only a mirror. It's only a reflection. It's only a source of inspiration or entertainment if you let it be. It could take you down if you let it be.
And
that's the power of the mind.
The system likes to challenge fathers when it comes to, you know, what you deem is within your rights to teach your children. Like, for example, when I was challenging custody and I was starting to get visitation with my kids, you know, I was seeing that they were using Nerf guns to play very loosely with. So I said, you know what, I don't want these kids to get the bad idea when it comes to pew pew and shooting and all that. So I said, let's get BB guns into the picture and show them true marksmanship and how to handle these things as men, because they're going to be men one day. And lo and behold, that information got back to baby moms. Baby moms got the lawyers involved, and I had to stand on my business. I had to stand on my business and tell them, listen, just like I told you, I'd much rather these kids learn about guns from their father, who's experienced with these things, than some bozo or TV show that teaches them how
This is why, again, you got to take it back to self. You got no business co-creating with a woman who don't see a gun as one of their best tools. That should just be in them, not on them. So you're already, again, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just pointing back the radical accountability, responsibility a man has to have as a leader choosing positions. And your first and foremost position is who's going to be that queen or that bottom woman, or who's going to be that life partner, companion, who's down for the ride long term with you. You're going to bring children into the world. She better be a replication or reflection or mirroring of who and what I am on some level, or we're going to have resistance and problems almost constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. This is what we have to get back to understanding about self first and foremost, that then shows up as an extension of self as people, places, and things. And if it's not going to be like that and we can't get to that, then we got no business absolutely bringing children into the world. Because now I got to fight this bitch and a system for what's obvious and self-evident to a man for thousands of years, right? For hundreds of years, at least, Americana culture was you gave your child a gun by the time he was 5 and 6, and you taught him how to handle it safely and properly and not to point it at other people unless you plan on killing them. And of course, if you plan on killing somebody, you better have a really good reason and understanding of why you did that. Right? So this is first and foremost. This is a spear. This is a sword. This is a gun. This is an extension. You want to get real about it? This is an extension subconsciously of the phallus, of the phallic beingness. This is the gelding of the man of this society. where they've now taught the women to teach the men to teach their son that their dick is a problem and the extension of that is a problem. So we're going to like cut off our beingness and our working with that aspect of self, that extension of self, because it's a danger to polite, kind, civilized society. And we know that's all a bullshit veneer, because right below the surface is an animalistic aspect of self that leads to war almost constantly within self, within the household, and between nations. So who are we kidding? Right? This is a domestication, emasculinization program, and it's working perfectly because it's got you at court explaining to some goofy bitch on a bench why an extension of our phallus is not only not a threat, it's what you all crave subconsciously.
Yeah, and what this journey taught me was, if I'm not willing to stand on my rights as a father, ultimately, as for my kids and my property, then I can't stand on anything outside of that, let alone, parking tickets, cars, whatever, discharging debt. Bro, first you got to stand on what's ultimately principally yours, and that's your children. And if you're not, and if you let the system trick you out of that, it's just going to keep playing games with you. I see men that are caught 20, 30 years paying child support for a kid that's already, emancipated, so to speak. And it's only the men, and I've noticed this through my personal experience, the men that stand on and show them, hey, I'm a gentleman and I'm a father. I'm a true father to these children, and you're not going to label me as anything else. Once you stand on that, they almost have total respect for you, and the whole thing just shifts on you. But you have to come true to yourself, because the system, it almost knows the bullshit. It weeds out the bullshit. It knows who's the bullshitters and who's not. And if you come true and correct with yourself, the system can't bullshit you. You can't bullshit.
Yeah, just like a woman on some level, subconsciously, she wants you to take charge and put that dick in her mouth.
Right.
She's in a service position, just like government is. If you don't want to take charge, and of course I'm being triggering here and being lewd and crude, rude on purpose, whatever. Don't care about your sensibilities. I'm illustrating a point.
I like that euphemism.
On people regularly. Women subconsciously want a man to take charge and be a man, because they won't on all levels. You're going to put that strap on, right? That's all it represents. The people in the service position are now going to do the servicing. Bend over.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to drive the train. This is Pimpin' 101. Somebody's got to run the show. Somebody's got to be in charge. Something's got to be in charge. That ism, that spirit. Or you're going to wind up bent over and having a train ran on you. That's the position of a man, like it or not. I'm sorry that it offends your sensibilities, all you inauthentic corporate males out there who don't want to rise to the occasion and be all you're meant to be under the creation. It startles you in all the high, polite society. That is your true essence. That is your prime evil, primordial nature. You better work with it rather than trying to reject it or censor it or limit it to please the inauthentic corporate males and females around you. It's working to your own detriment. That's why you're highly unfulfilled. That's why many of you are constantly being competitive, even when you shouldn't be. That's why many of you are constantly warlike, even on the metaverse. Because you have not reconciled your subconscious position in this creation, what your role, form, and function is. And you constantly project onto me how I'm a toxified version when I'm a more complete version. Not totally complete, just more so than the majority of folks who come here and are offended by what completion looks like on some level. I know who and what I am, what my form and function is, and what I'm not. I will speak it and, more importantly, live it. If it offends your delicate sensibilities, go deal with the rest. They're more than happy to forsake their beingness primordially, supernaturally, to please you and everyone else who tells them what a man should be. You're in a world where goofy bitches who can't keep a man are writing books on how a man should be. Give me a break. Your thoughts? Hold on, I gotta thank a couple people. We're thankful and grateful here. Even when nothing comes in, we're thankful and grateful here. Matter of fact, sometimes we're more thankful and grateful here when things don't come in, because it's a pause for introspection and reflection. What could we have done better? Where are we missing the mark? Where are we misappropriating our time, energy, attention, and with whom or what? So just as much as I appreciate the givings, I appreciate the non-givings, because it causes me to do better and be better within myself and in life. See, there's a purpose and a process for everything if you let it be.
When
Thank
life
you,
no
Mr.
longer gives, that's your cue to innovate.
Well, it's you. I'm talking to you. I have to thank you. You're right here. Thank you, Emmanuel, for your contribution. And Mr. Shively, Shively says, appreciate you, sir, and all you do. So apparently he had to inform me that they're doing the thing again like they did before. Every so often they start playing again, where if you go to gift me something, they ask you like 2 and 3 times. You sure you want to give something to this guy? He's a fraud and grifter. He's a terrorist, offset. He says, suck my dick in public. Are you sure this is like what you want to do? Right? They ask you now for me 3 and 4 times on the app just to make sure for safety. Right? They're keeping you safe. So we thank them for
maybe
that.
if you leaned more into the suck my dick in private, maybe that would be maybe more respectable. I don't know.
No. That's the thing. That's the glaring hypocrisy of this society. They'll slave you in public. They'll genocide you in public. They'll do war on other societies and claim it for safety in public. They'll do all this crap in public. But dare I say, all you beta males and females suck my dick in public, which is your rightful position at this point under creation. If you want to talk about inherent hierarchical power and value systems, we're shocked. Oh my God, we're shocked. You know, we're taken aback. How could he say that? Right. You didn't catch me doing it. You didn't catch me getting my dick sucked in public like the famous philosopher who lived in the fucking bucket like Jack Talcott's going to be over the next few months or weeks. No. So what are we really talking about here? We're talking about what I'm talking about, but you're not doing something different about what's actually happening. There's the glaring hypocrisy as they vote for another slave master to do all the things I just mentioned, as they pay the slave tax to make it happen. Give me a break.
Jack's not going to be homeless. Tarek said he would pay the $300,000. He just needs to.
Tarek is completely full of shit. If he does have that kind of cash, he's an agent. They're both agents. I'm not buying it. Where did Tarek come from out of nowhere? Why does he claim to have charges and feds investigating him? Sketchy. When someone tells me that, it's either A, they're trying to work off charges, or B, they're trying to relate to me so I don't look at them as an agent. But I have government coming in searching me. I just like you. That's what I get from that, right? You guys I don't listen to what the fuck you say. I take note of it and then I watch what you do until you fuck up. Then I start trying to connect the pieces back and how it makes sense. I'm not easily manipulatable and suggestible. It's how I was involved in drugs for so long and had a couple of incidents because people ratted me out and got me set up directly, working off charges, like I just told you. There's been many undercovers in my life. There's been many interactions. They can't get nowhere with me because I don't listen to anything. I don't even look at what you show. I just take note and then I long game you. And I game around you because I get a vibe. And it just always works. And the only time it doesn't work is when I don't listen to it. And I'm sitting next to someone crossing the Brooklyn Bridge and my life's flashing before my eyes. And I go, I need to stop all this. Just uncharacteristically. I just go, I tell the guy, I go, we need to stop all this. He's like, what? We just got the best connection ever. Like, I know that we don't have this is, and then like, I'm like, no, something's there. Right. Fast forward, within hours or by the next day, we're all getting locked up. This kid who's driving us in came out of nowhere and he was working off charges, had the police watching us the whole time. And I told the kid from the beginning, we're dope sick and we want to go out there, but we probably shouldn't because this guy's it's just not right. Something's not right. But you don't listen to that. Why? Because you're desperate, because you're codependent, not only on these jerk-offs, but on the drug. You're not in your right mind and you're not willing a long game. So you start taking chances you shouldn't. I've always had an intuition on me. Even on 10 fucking shots of dope couldn't kill this intuition in me. That's why I had to stop it. Really? You want to get real about it? Because no amount of drugs in the world was going to kill this intuition in me that was causing me to have a schism with the world and everyone and everything in it. I had to get me right on some level. That was the only thing that was going to take me to the next level in consciousness and awareness. What enough weed, heroin, Xanax, and the rest of it all at once. PCP at one point, I was smoking all day, every day. To try to escape this thing in me that was crying out, calling out, observing things, warning me. This is how foolish we are. We think it's an impediment or a detriment to us. It's the spirit trying to lead, guide, protect, and reveal, and we're trying to take it out of existence. What did the drugs do? Only brought me closer to that. I'm out there smoking dust, having telepathic communications with bitches. I had a woman come over to me one day, she goes, how'd you just do that? I go, what are you talking about? Because I wanted to see what she was going to say. She goes, you just said something to me with your mind and whatever. I said, oh, that's it. I had to fold it up right there. I said, I was looking at the shit. Like, I said, what the fuck is it? I'm looking at the PCP like it's in there, right? This is how foolish we are. I'm sitting there at the PCP going, oh, this is amazing. And also you got to put it down. This is probably how they write movies off the shit. Then they'll go write a movie on a guy who takes a pill and has supernatural abilities. It's not the dust, right? It's not the drugs. It's you. It's in you. You work with it. It's available at more times because you change your brain chemistry and your perspective. You could do that without drugs. That's been the spiritual practice from the beginning of time. So while you're running from self to a thing in the world to try to escape self, it only brings you closer to self and beyond. That's the game. See, God is somehow in everything and a part of every experience. You just have to be able to see how, when, and why, if possible, if that makes sense. And I've had multiple experiences like that on those drugs. And then at a certain point off the drugs, because I became aware it wasn't a drug. You could do it on the drugs. You could do it off the drugs. Now, what's the the gap there in connectivity and communication with higher self, if you want to call it that? What's the gap there? And of course, it's self-knowledge and self-realization and self-actualization. The more you have self-knowledge, the more you self-actualize and realize in the truest sense, the more that you start to redevelop or re-come into communication with powers and abilities that you didn't know you have or were dormant.
Which can all basically be summarized as self-mastery, essentially.
You could argue that. I don't claim to be self-mastered. I think that would be an arrogant claim. Others would have to claim that, and then that would be forced to be analyzed, right? What's the subjectivity of that? What's the objectivity?
Yeah, I would say that you're on the path like not like everyone, but like everyone who, like most who tend
we're
to
all meant to be, I believe. We're all meant to be. It's oneself. We're all meant to do the same process. Most people don't. And that's been like that from the beginning of time, bro. That's what gave way to the fraternities and the fraternal organizations and the philosophy and all the rest of it. It was a limited venue for a kingdom of few, if you will, right? The gate is narrow. There's only a few people in this realm who are going to pursue actualization and realization. I proved that last night with Lindsay and the rest of them. They laughed at me. I said, hey, dummy, don't forget that on record with your egotistical left brain system, I am the 2%. That's what I had to go to realize. I didn't know who or what I was. My father wouldn't tell me. You think I'm sitting here from some prideful, egotistical perspective? I'm only observing what is. Again, the man from the beginning of time said, the man who's proud of his intelligence is like the condemned man who's proud of his large jail cell. He is alone most of the time. What is there to be egotistical and prideful about that when it comes to social interactions? Which all you motherfuckers, including myself at one time, was all we thrive on, apparently. So much so you go on panels to waste your time, energy, and attention, your greatest resource.
Yeah, before we kind of move on, or I forget rather, you guys were, you were on the topic of fatherly guidance and whatnot, and you're also talking about guns. So of course with me that ties in. I lost my dad in 2010. And to my knowledge, that's, he used a gun. So I actually went to a park where they have a gun range, So I would imagine in his head he figured, oh, it wouldn't be too out there. I don't know. I mean, to me it's kind of dumb because I don't know if he thought.
The point is, bro, 95% of children statistically are looked at to be geniuses until they join the institutionalized beast system. They have a genius level of conceptualization compared to the average adult corporatized institutionalized slave. They have an ability to perceive in a way. That's the genius, the perception of the way. Right? So we stamp that out of the children. And when it's apparent within them, you want to project onto that because it's a threat to your go along to get along system. So it shocked me when I had to go to the paperwork and find out not only was I not crazy, but I was above and beyond on paper intellectually the majority of the folks who were trying to keep me in their box with their understanding that was limited. See? So this is what we have to recognize for ourselves. There's many folks here that potentially could have a genius level ability to perceive of the way. And that's going to serve them in everything that they do and are, if they let it be, if they could let go of all the mischaracterizations and misunderstandings of those who have a limited perspective and therefore limited results in self and outside of self.
Part of that battle is making
but I guess
sure,
the
you
reason
know,
I brought it up.
yeah, part of the battle I believe
Go
to
ahead.
ensuring that is the most successful, you gotta like make sure your kids aren't tampered with medically. Because I noticed what Paul was saying about the genius factor. It was as soon as my kids were out the womb, it was like they were learning the world I was in at a pace quicker than I realized I was learning stuff. And then once the doctors started tampering with them, I started noticing that natural like want to learn decline, and you know, school in conjunction with the school system that just made it even worse. So it's like an uphill battle with your children if you're not in total control of their mind, their
You got to
bodies.
get them early, bro. That's where my
Yep.
uncle, you know, he's sick right now, and there's a part of me that I hold him in high regard because he was one of those people, right? He was a genius IQ on paper, but he was completely unreconciled all of his life from what I can perceive, and it was a burden on him and everyone else, and that's okay. Because again, when you're born a genius level intellect in this realm with a warrior spirit, you are like put upon from day one, is what it feels like. I'm not making no victims out of any of this shit. I just see the reflection, and I see the toll it took on him because he's a lot like me on paper. And then there's what you do with it because of how you perceive it, right? So they made him believe he was a problem when a lot of times he brought solutions to tyrants. He was the quickest to play with his hands because people want to put their hands on people. They want to tell people what they're going to do and not do. My uncle was viewed as a psychopathic personality. I don't agree with that. Now, is there aspects of that that can act out at times and be viewed as that unsociable? Yeah. Are there times where that aspect of self can work against self and others? Yeah. It has to be directed properly. The absence of that is the purest problem in this society right now. That you got a bunch of males walking around who won't play with their hands with a bunch of other males who will. See? And I had to confront that in my life because I was somebody, while I had a warrior spirit and while I had a genius intellect on paper that they tried to mischaracterize, I have a heart that doesn't like confrontation. I have a heart that doesn't like playing with my hands and having to respond. I'd rather be hit and walk away and be perceived as a coward than have to beat someone's ass. Okay. But again, is there a place and a form and a function for that in this realm? It's been one of the greatest sources of contemplation and contention for me. Is there a place in this realm for the lowest form of intelligence? You could argue the highest form of intelligence, which is animal intuition. You're going to tell me what to do? No, I'm going to tell you to stop it, or I'm going to tell you what to do. And if you keep going, I'm going to make it happen. That's how you stop a fucking tyrant in its tracks. That's how you stop a predator in its tracks. If you don't know that, you better go live up in the mountains or somewhere where you have that. You better go live in a city or a suburb where they have two-legged versions of that.
Gotta thank Rob G. Gotta do it. Sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
I just had to thank Rob G. I said, thank you, Robbie G.
Well,
Hey, I left the link in the private chat.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I should thank Awakened One. Well, I don't even know if they're here. I haven't seen them
Shout out to Conflicts.
around. They don't usually come in the chat, but shout out to
So
Awakened.
you recognize
Yeah,
that
shout out
it's
to
very likely, at the risk of embarrassing myself through projection, I've done it many times before, we'll do it again. You do realize it's very likely that that is just a power move that's being played on you because Rob G has issues with me. So how does he get to me without getting to me? By getting to you and trying to make me feel something through you. If you want to be the person who is a middleman puppet to me and what I do, then you can do that. Again, I'm not demeaning whatever it is you do or why it is he's giving you something. I can't imagine why he'd be giving you anything for sitting there silently today, other than the fact that I know that he seems to have some twist with me. So if he thinks or you think that I care ultimately about him playing some power game, giving his value to you to prove something to me, I think it's goofy and foolish if that's what's going on. If not, I totally support you in getting value in however you're meant to.
Yeah,
And I'm
couldn't-
totally in support of you getting value whoever you're meant to get it from. Because I'm not in control of that, nor would I want to take my own peace and my own dignity away by focusing on that more than necessary. So you spoke it, so I spoke on it with what I perceive. There really is no emotion about it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think
Like
for
I
the most
told you
part,
from the beginning, bro, whether it's GIMP ZooCam or GIMP Legal Lawful School or whatever the fuck, I'd rather promote you being the best version of you and bringing in value with what you're meant to do than bringing in value as being a charity case or a puppet to the god of all media. You know, I could probably play off that and use that to my own benefit, but I'm not going to sit down and strategize and figure out how. I'd rather just tell the truth and what I think is evident and valuable for all of us than to play that game. It seems to work for me most of the time when I just take that approach. Honesty is the best policy, and being balanced and centered with clarity and peace and just describing what you see or what the potentiality is probably the best course of action for oneself and others.
And that's a big reason why I don't want to be that either. That's why I refuse.
I know you don't. That's why I speak it, bro. Because I know me. I know you. Ultimately, I don't even care what you tell me. That's how arrogant I am. If you want to call it that, you ain't gonna bullshit me and everyone else here, bro. I am you. You know, I could pick on you for different things that I'm fat, you're skinny, right? I'm this, you're that, whatever. Beyond that is one conscious and awareness and one manifestation, you could argue. And then there's just perspective, understanding, application. When that comes into alignment, the understanding, the vision, the co-creation, the harmony comes into alignment, and the results come into alignment. This ain't that mysterious and mystical.
Yeah, and even when you're aligned, when you truly align yourself with that truth or whatever we want to call it, you know, just the way you're speaking right now, that voice will speak to yourself while you're driving by yourself down a lonely road one day, or while you're carrying out a task, when you fucked up, when you did something good. That voice will be there telling you, hey, you need to be better, or good job, or whatever it is that you did. But that voice will tell you truthfully. If not, you're just going to be one of those people that ignores that inner voice that's always
Bro,
there.
you know how many times that I, especially at certain points, that I go, I don't want to do the broadcast. I want a day for me. I don't want any non-negotiables. I just want to sit on the couch. And then I have made it a non-option for myself at this time, because I found that that is a deception. Every time that I'm done with a broadcast, I'm glad that I did it. And I would have rather have done it than miss out on that opportunity or that obligation and trick myself out of some process, power, procedure, right? Or just an ability to express fully and do something with the medium, right? So because I know that about myself, I don't do the former. And that's been a big learning curve for me in how to work myself. Is there's many things that I would talk myself out of doing that after they're done, I say, I'm glad I did that. And I don't know why I would have said that to myself or followed that horrible advice.
Yep.
If that makes sense, right? And then there's days like today with the energy, whatever it is, where this is all I would rather be doing, right? Like I could have before this broadcast said, I don't want to do this broadcast today. In this moment right now, and the past moments for the last couple hours, it's all I would want to be doing, and the energy is right, and the conversation is there, and you know, you just know it when you're there, right? And it's
I know
best off
exactly
to
what you're
create a
talking about.
life, right? It's a quality of experience, and it's best off to create a life full of those quality of experience as much as possible. That also meets your needs and generates results and value for you. If you can get that all in alignment and done, you're on a path, you're on a movement, you're going to be doing what the rest aren't, and you're going to feel some type of way about yourself. What I would like to think is confidence and faith.
Yeah, I had to kind of go through that process this morning where, you know, I was talking, I was like, oh, I don't really want to get up, it's raining, you know, finding every excuse in the book to not go out there and get what I need to get from my daily bread. And I mean, and even if I got bread on reserve, I got me a little bag, whatever, stashed somewhere, that's still not an excuse to kick up your feet and not do anything for that day or talk yourself out of doing something for the day. So I had to let that voice tell me, nah, bro, you got to be of service. But I'm looking at my board and I have nothing on my board. You think I'm gonna go beg for work? Nah, but I'm gonna make myself presentable. You know, there's people I work with that I said, hey, what needs to be done? Is there a task that I could take off of your hands today? Is there something that I could do? You know, and I found it. You know, if you seek, you'll find, right? But if you talk yourself into sitting at home all day because the world is whatever, or it's outside, or whatever looks like, whatever, because of whatever it looks like outside or whatever, then, you know, a whole life of opportunities are going to pass you by, and you're not going to be a happy person by the time the end comes. I don't believe, you know.
That's the thing. People are looking for happiness here when happiness is a side effect of the way that you're living and being. Right? It's a quality that comes about as a result of the way you're living and what you're doing and how you're being. It's not something you shoot for. Right? You find yourself at some point after doing something over and over again. You go, I'm pretty happy in myself and in my life. You didn't shoot for that. You shot for purpose and meaning and to be of service or an asset or a value in some venue or some community. I learned this being a gopher in construction, where I had to find purpose and meaning and value in me doing fire caulking or insulation or whatever else. So I had to look at the bigger picture. Me and these people are responsible for creating all these dwellings where all these activities and things are going to be happening. So without me, this doesn't happen. Right? You can say that I'm the lowest person on the totem pole. I'm picking up garbage. I'm doing fire caulking. I'm doing all the shit everyone else doesn't want to do, but needs to be done. Without me, this shit doesn't happen. If you can find purpose and meaning in a position like that, you're golden, because now you're going to make yourself a value and an asset to that community, to that venue, to that employer, and they're going to now let you rise up the ranks. You know, there was times when I was in that space and doing what I was supposed to be doing where the energy coming off me was leading to opportunities with people, because they go, we can see it. They can smell it on you, right? These are people who, if they're worldly or not, they have certain experience with certain things. You can't discount people just because they're in the corporate world completely. There's people in the corporate world, they know what it takes for success. They know what it takes to get something done, and they know who's got it and who doesn't. And when you show up with it and you show up working at it, they're going to let you excel and they're going to give you a position. And that's why I know people are full of shit when they say they can't rise in an organization. All they're not really looking at is how they've not been a true value and asset to themselves and that venue. If they were, they'd be on their way to a movement up the chain. That's how life works. That's how a business works. That's how a relationship or anything works. You got to be authentic on some level. I mean, you could argue in the corporate world, authenticity takes a backseat to form and function. Authenticity can get you in trouble in the corporate world. But that's the thing. That's why the corporate world can teach you a lot, but is also self-limiting on the road to actualization and realization. Teach you a whole bunch of shit over here that you're going to have to apply over there with some other stuff that's not going to be appreciated there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of this movie that I saw called Net Worth. It's an old movie where, like, the guy gets, at one scene, he gets brought into like a big table room, and the CEO is telling him about, you know, how he interrupted divine, you know, the flow of divine nature and laws and energy and all of that. And it's all based on, you know, an understanding that, you know, we all have a part to play in this system, you know, whether it's a corporate one or non-corporate. There's just certain things that you have to align yourself with for, you know, for you not to be at odds with it all, if that makes sense.
Bro, I walked into a fucking Taco Bell like 4 months ago. Don't ask. I walk into a Taco Bell and there's just, you know, I'm going to be whatever about it to trigger and also communicate another sentiment. A little retarded kid, we'll call him, to be politically correct. Little retarded kid at Taco Bell. He was probably thinking the same thing about me. Let's make no mistake here. I mean, you know, look at me. And he's running all over. I could cry, bro. Like, if I'm gonna start getting, because I could feel it coming up in me. He's running all over. He's asking everybody what they need. He's sweeping up. He's doing all the, bro, I'm watching this kid. I'm standing there because they're taking way too long, as always. And it's because the rest of them there ain't about shit. This is the irony of it. You got a bunch of able-bodied, normal, in quotes, people who just don't give a fuck. So I'm sitting there longer than I should be. Whatever. I'm a patient person. I'm forgiving. I'm not going to get into that space. I'm gonna look for some way to change my experience or rich my experience if I'm waiting around somewhere. So I'm watching this kid. And over the course of 20 to 30 minutes, he's doing everything. Dropping shit, sweeping, asking, coming up to people. You got everything at a Taco Bell. They don't do that at Taco Bell. Coming up to the tables where people are dining in. You guys got everything? You need anything? I got emotional. I start looking for cash to give him, right? That's the energy. Doesn't matter if you're at Taco Bell. That motherfucker's going to walk away with an extra $100 or $200 a day out of people just going, this guy's above and beyond. And he's working from behind an 8 ball. because he's got some disabilities and some detriment in his life. That's the difference between somebody who really wants it and who's really going to get it and really be successful despite their impediments versus the regular folks who may have more aptitude and ability who don't apply themselves because they just don't give a fuck.
No, you and I both have been guilty of just that more times than you could count in our lives. So
that's the only reason I come here and speak on it, because it's been such a source of wasted time, energy, attention, and lack of results for me for so long. I'm so thankful and grateful I got it now. I'm still ahead of the game. I ain't even 40 yet. So if I could pass that on and pay it forward to other folks, and I got to trigger them in order to do it and entertain folks with the content, because I'm content with me for the first time ever. I am the content. Are you?
You're not even 35 yet, man. Talking about 40.
Listen, bro, I'm long game guy. I'm on 5-year, 10-year plans at a time. I do what your masters do. I don't do what the rest of your jerk-offs do. That's why they're successful in their evil endeavors. If you do what they do from a positive stance, you will be successful in godly endeavors.
What's the JP Morgan quote? Millionaires talk about something. Billionaires talk about astrology or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, millionaires don't follow astrology. Billionaires do.
That's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
But I think
right, bro. When you get good at this conscious awareness game or this game of life, the art of living, the universe is connected with you. I don't have to look at the stars, bro. It's in me before it was on me or around me. Yeah. That is the understanding of the Tao. So I wake up and I go, oh, I feel it. Illumitami's going to be in my face today. Snafu's going to be on one today. I already feel it in the ether, bro. I come here, I go, the broken bitches are going to be horny but playing their power games today. And sure enough, they're all doing it down there. They're all doing it on every panel. And what am I doing? Trying to practice something different, trying to bring something different to the table, trying to refocus people. If not, practicing my own detachment from the universal impetus or impulse or demiurge, if you will. Right? I don't want to have a train ran on me by the stars moving in the sky. I want to be self-controlled, self-directed, self-mastered. Forgive me if I'm attempting to overthrow God. I don't see it that way. I'm taking what God has put forth and directing it for proper instructions to motivate people to live a proper life, whatever that looks and feels like for you. I can only tell you what it is for me now. It may change over time. It has before.
That's the shit you can't learn in books. You got to really, tap into your intuitive abilities. And I think that's what sets you apart than a lot of people, because a lot of people are focused on what others
That's the only thing, sir. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
There's no other real difference as far as I can perceive or separation other than that I've reunified with some level of instinct or intuition within me that works for me when it's supposed to and works against other folks when it's supposed to. It's not my intention or my will. It's the nature of the game. It's the nature of the consciousness and the perspectives and how they interact with each other. It's been like that from the beginning of time. There's the black and the white and the gray area. The yin and yang ain't there as symbolism for no reason. So you got your sun and your moon, you got your night and your day, you got your dualistic aspect of self, and then you got your gray area, which is a directed consciousness to merge the two together to work for self and others. In truth, life on life's terms.
And that's how you can remain unfazed by the skewed perspectives of others,
Right. That's where my arrogance comes from, is but I don't think that I discovered something that works for me. I think I became aware of something that always has worked for all of us. So I communicate it with a sense of authority because I believe in it. Better yet, no, because it's produced results and it's produced a different state of consciousness. So what else could a being go on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Millionaires follow the market. Billionaires follow the stars. That maybe that's it. That might be it.
Yeah, that's basically what Paul said. But that's precise terminology. Yeah.
All they're really communicating is there's more millionaires now than ever. You don't really have to be that special to be a millionaire, right? A billionaire might be a different discussion, might be a different state of perspective in order to be a billionaire and wake up every day and still apply yourself to a purpose. This is what these slaves don't understand. Success can take you down just like failure can take you down. How many folks on here don't have shit and aren't doing nothing? If you gave them $1 billion, they'd do even less. So they have no idea what it takes to wake up as somebody who is wealthy or is rich in pocket and start from zero every day and apply themselves with results and act like it never happened. You almost have to be completely detached from money while you think these people love money. It's ridiculous. They see money as an energy exchange. That's all it is. That's why rich people move money so easily and take risks. They're not risk averse. You are, because you love the money. When you don't have it, it eats you up inside. And then you come on here and try to project your self-righteousness, and I see right through it. You're poor in broken pockets and you're poor in broken spirit. That's why your results suck, your countenance sucks, your presentment and energy sucks, and all the rest of it. So don't talk to me about a billionaire who wakes up every day dedicated to their purpose and results outside of themselves and outside the value of the money. You wouldn't know what it's like to live like that with $1 billion or zero. And it should be a lot easier living like that from zero than $1 billion. How about that for a trigger session? For all the envious, jealous, materialistic, shallow folks who want to project that onto others when that's not what's being shown. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah,
It's
it's coming off
gorilla
topic.
season.
It's guru season.
Yeah,
Gorilla
yeah, it
guru.
is that too. I've been drinking the Guru energy drinks, all organic.
Where's your boy
plant-based.
Snafu when you need him? The guru, non-guru.
I think I had one of them shits once. But yeah, the reason
Yes, sir.
I brought that up before is not to revel in trauma or any of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But just to kind of, I know I have to address that and what's the word that you always use, man? That I always fucking reciprocate, recalibrate, fucking, god damn it. Reconcile. Good Lord. Thank you, sir. Third time's a charm. Yeah. You know, reconcile that unresolved. Well, I don't want to say unresolved because very much in many ways, definitely resolved trauma. But, you know, I had the fear of guns for a while and I had to get over that. And coincidentally, I mean, the only time I've been to a range was with my buddy who just passed away. That's back in September. But, yeah, I mean, I would say I'm a pretty good shot now. And, I don't see myself ever like I'm never gonna do what he did, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be a lot quicker to do. I never thought this way, but until I started to get comfortable with one, but I'm not uncomfortable with using one if I ever have to, you know what I mean? So I used to say, oh, I could never harm someone in that way, you know?
Yeah, obviously,
realized
bro, it's a lot different from what we talk about and what we imagine than when you actually have a gun pointed to someone. And if you're any being of empathy and compassion or restraint, it's a lot easier to say what you would do than to point a gun at somebody and actually take a life. You know?
Right.
But then
See, I've always
again, you
seen
know,
myself, whenever I watch these videos, bro, like cop shootings, whatever, movies, whatever, and they're trying to, you know, subdue someone by shooting them fucking 6 times. I'm like, yo, if that was me. It's a knee shot. That's it. That's what else do you need?
the
A
thing
push
that gets
shot.
me about that, I mean, I always kind of overblow my response. I don't ever have to get vocal when I observe something. If I do that, it's more for effect, but there is a sentiment there. And what always shocks me, I guess, is still this perceived idea of order and service that has completely gone away, and how these people could be so quick to resort to taking life without even a threat present. Right? That's what's shocking to me. That shouldn't be shocking. I'm not shocked when cartel members cut each other's heads off. That's what you sign up for. You play by the rules or you get fucked up. That's that society. That's that culture. There is no feeling in that. The feeling comes when you sign up to do service and protect everybody's rights and start taking rights of defenseless people and taking life. That is a bit shocking to me. Because you expect it with criminals who live in that society and sign up for that. You don't expect it with people who masquerade to be righteous people who say they're going to do what's true and correct. And again, this difference between the naivety in me versus others. I've always been available to what is and just see it for what it is. Most folks don't want to get past that shock that the people who signed up to do good are actively doing evil regularly and making justifications for it. And you're too quick to point fingers at low-level people who do everyday criminality with other folks who signed up for that. That's the thing. They signed up for that. You can't talk shit about somebody who does a hit on another gang. You sign up to bang that gang and show those colors. It means you're also a target practice. Everyone knows that going in. So when it happens, nobody's shocked. It's dig another hole, just like war. Nobody's shocked when motherfuckers kill each other in war. That's what you signed up to do. But when it's completely antithetical to what it's supposed to represent and stand for, it's a bit shocking to the nervous system.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Hey, Mitchell, your picture's not showing up. It's blank.
Yeah, reload, man. You're not adding anything to the. Oh, there you go. But yeah, I had to. I realized I had to do some things the opposite of of how I thought I should be doing it, including the fear of guns for one. You know, like, oh, what if I? You know what I mean? Just thinking maybe I'm not strong enough mentally to ever have one or use one or whatever. But yeah, I don't tend to think you need one per se, depending on where you're living. But then again, in the days we live in, if you're someone who's
That's a
going
ridiculous perspective to have. That's like saying you don't need a fucking tire jack or a spare tire in your car because there's no nails on the road. You know, it's a tool. You'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. To pretend because you live in a nice area, it's not prone to crime is the biggest foolishness I've ever heard. See, I'm so, I guess, smart in my criminality that's all we did when we did crime was look for the good neighborhoods where there was no security and everyone was off guard. You don't go rob people in the hood where everybody's got guns and watching everybody else. You go rob people where everybody's la 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 la. It's choose love, brothers and sisters. And they leave their shit around everywhere. They leave their bikes unlocked. They leave their purse open at the fucking stand wherever they're at because they got no awareness, situational awareness. They have no understanding of self and what else is out there. They're in a false sense of security. If you don't think that the average predator criminal scum goes and picks the weakest spot to hit, they do. So you better not be the weakest bitch there because they're going to hit you. Does that not make sense? The people who go to shoot people up don't go shoot people up in the hood. They go to a school with no guns. Hello? If you think that I'd be in a school without a gun on me, you must be crazy at this point. I don't care if it's legal or not. I'm telling you, I'm going to even tell you. I'm telling you there's a good chance I got weapons on me. Take that for what you want. If you don't want me in this place, I'll leave now. But when the school shooter comes, Paulie Boy's coming out the back closet. We're going to prepare for it too. I'm going to get in the fucking class with the kids and tell them, you go over here, right? And then we're going to set up a distraction and I'm going to come out from over there when this dirtbag sticks his head through this fucking door. And we're going to end it right there. If you think I'm going to sit in a building and wait for these scum to show up to protect me, you must be crazy.
You know, there are some theorists out there that would say that 9 out of 10 probably of those things that happen, those bang bang thingies.
I don't care, bro. Let's go to Walmart. How many Walmarts are robbed every day and shot up? You want to tell me it's all fucking conspiracy? How many convenience stores are held up and robbed by some lowlife who may be on drugs and may decide to take everybody hostage in there? You think I'm going to sit around to find out? I live every day of my life at some point in the day considering I'm going out in the world right now. I'm going into this store right now. Anything could potentially be in here. I better be on some level situationally aware. If you think I don't walk around like that on 10 fucking blunts, I do. It's almost militaristic at this point. Not so much that it takes my joy and peace, but I look around and I'm aware and I watch for who comes in and who goes out and I profile them and I make sure of where the entrances and exits are. I do a cursory check of the environment and what's going on, which should be intuitional and natural for any male of any species. Just so you know, the deer was doing it last night. The deer was coming up to get food and it was checking its environment, checking everybody out, making sure to keep my big ass at a distance. Jennifer can go a little bit closer. This is common fucking sense.
You know, speaking of, you took that. I remember you had a deer, a video you feeding a deer an apple or something like that, right? On Paul Enslaved on the main.
Right? I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? You holding out I think you're in the car and you're holding out an apple or something.
It was a donkey, sir.
Oh, a donkey.
Jackass.
Okay, well, I was just gonna ask, why did you take everything down? Why not leave like stuff like that up that you know is not gonna be an issue?
Well, do you want to see the video of the donkey? I'll text it to you.
That's not the point, man. I'm saying, did you hit a setting where it just takes everything down automatically, or did you one by one privatize
I
it?
went
Like,
through every video and put them all on private.
yeah, well, that definitely could have been one that you probably would have been able to keep up, and a few
I'll
others. I'm
take
sure.
that suggestion into account that you want to see more of the donkey video again.
I mean, you know what it would
yeah.
do too is it would probably everyone that has clicked on your page recently, because I've seen it recently that it's just blank, but they would see that, and then you'd have a shit ton of views on that, and then maybe you could leave a link in the comments or something to the main, even though it's already in your about section. But just food for thought.
Thank you, Sean, for that suggestion.
And it's a good video. Paul of
Thank you.
Paul of Nature. Paul of Source. But yeah, I was thinking Steve was gonna hop up again today, but maybe another time. I've been checking out that chart, man. It's fucking wild. It's extremely detailed, extremely lengthy. Military government responsibilities, organization and operations, military government plans, military government functions, personnel, proclamations, ordinances, orders and instructions, military tribunals.
Sean, you're rambling.
It's interesting, man. Even though the military tribunal stuff starts to feel like Q anus proper territory with the the white hats and all that shit, but I wonder. I do wonder. I really do wonder what all has been happening the last several years ever since the island.
Yeah, what's happening? Storm coming. Trust the plan. Storm coming.
Yep. Big eclipse, 4/8.
See,
April 8th.
when the white hats have yellow bellies, they're of no consequence to the greater picture and process and procedure. So I'm not interested what color hats the cowards wear. They're still cowards. Never surrender. Right. Donnie, $400 shoes, never surrender. And then I'll be languishing in federal prison one day. Do you think Donnie will pardon me for all my terrorist activities? No, because he's playing a part. It's all bullshit. If Donnie was really about anything, he'd already got people like me all over this nation, however many there are, a couple hundred at least. He would have got them together, and he'd have given us the fucking Medal of Honor and everything else in that goofy system. And he'd have had us cutting ribbons on Front Street, with the key to the city. No, he's not going to do none of that. It's all bullshit. The people who really do live like that and stand for that are going to come out in the open. They're going to label you and potentially do something to you one day if they can get it done. That's the nature of this game. And the only way that's going to happen is if everyone else is a fucking coward. So one comes before the other. The only way that they can do something to me or someone like me for what I stand for is if everyone else is a fucking coward. You like it, I love it. One's going to define the other and vice versa. I'll be sitting in jail like the puff of reefer with a phone that was up somebody's ass doing a broadcast. I'll probably smoke 0.2s, 0.3s because it'll be more expensive, right? So I'll have to roll up tinier ones. And I'll be doing my broadcast. How are you bitch ass cowardly slaves doing out there? I'll just be doing time, right? With myself, with the spirit, speaking and living the truth in whatever venue I'm in. And you can go vote for Donnie again or Donnie's son. Little retarded son he's got. Of course, I'm being a bit triggering and flippant there. Right, like I did earlier. Whatever.
His time traveling son?
Yeah, barren little retarded son he's got, who was retarded just like me. Can't focus, can't pay attention, doesn't want to be part of any of the speeches. Every time you see him out in public, he's looking around like, who are these fucking freaks? Yeah. Maybe you'll vote for him one day because he'll actually do and be something with all his ADD, anxiety, depression, and all the other shit they put on him. No, they won't let him. The system put that on him because he's Donnie's son. They're not going to put that on him. They'll put that on me and people like me, but not him. He'll be amazing. He'll be a genius, like Hunter Biden. Joe Biden once famously said, Hunter Biden is the smartest man I've ever met. Turns out it's his son, and they're both retarded.
Lori,
you see how it works. You get it.
With the fucking truth bomb there. Can you pin Lori's comment?
That's why. Okay, and here's a bigger clue. That's why the average home and society member is not successful, because my father will come on my platform and shit on me to make himself feel better. Joe Biden will say Hunter Biden's the smartest man I've ever met after him getting caught with crack and hookers. That's the difference. Now, somewhere in the middle there is the truth, but you have a different dynamic. They support each other. They bullshit with each other toward everyone else. You could argue it's somewhat honorable. These people shit on themselves, their own family members, their own friends, won't observe the truth, won't be accountable, lie just to look and feel better. I mean, again, I've got a case here that I just opened up right off the top of my head where Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are somewhat more honorable to their purpose and cause than my own father and my own family. Because they know we showed up to do criminality here today. We showed up to bullshit. We're not going to tell the truth, and we're going to support each other through all this. Right? You don't support your own family through the truth and the spiritual development and awakening and what needs to happen. You shit on them and lie on them in order to make yourself look and feel better, or to limit them to not go beyond you. You wonder why the average person's a fucking slave from a slave house with a slave mind? You're not even at the level of doing politics yet, let alone the otherworldly level beyond that.
.508C1A.
I like that idea of locking yourself up in a compound. It's very Pablo Escobar-esque. You do like an agreement with the state, and
My
you say,
father
"Hey,
should have
listen."
showed up here like Joe Biden and said, "My son is a genius. He's the smartest man I ever met, on or off heroin." And that actually would have been a true statement, unlike when Joe Biden said it, because ironically, I am the smartest man my father's ever met. I've proven that. But he wouldn't say it even if it was true, because then it would mean something about him. You don't even have the humbleness and humility of Joe Biden to bullshit properly or even work with the truth.
Yeah, for a while, my
Kinda
dad was
sad.
caught up in that whole politics stuff. He was always for the other side politically. And then when I stepped away from politics altogether, see, I'm like the prodigal son. I stepped away from my family very early. And then when I came back, that's when I had challenges. And then, I worked them out with my dad. But one of those things was the political conversations, and he was totally, and even the churches he would go to, I'd be like, "Dad, you don't see what's going on here? Like, you don't see the whole grift?" And and I don't know, me and him have come to reconcile to the point that even he's talking about wanting to get away from it all and get a piece of land.
Right.
And
A false
he
leader becomes
understands.
a follower of a true leader at some point. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I see myself going deeper and deeper into Babylon, and I see him, making his exit plan out of it. And at first he wasn't like that, but something throughout, the interaction between me and him throughout the years, he realized, maybe my son is onto something, maybe there is more that meets the eye with all of this, because a lot of what I was trying to share, it was coming from like his son. He's like, what can my son teach me? Right. Just as I would say about my own kid, what could you teach me, kid? But there are things that our kids can teach us,
It's not even about teaching. It's reminding us of before the corruption, before the trauma, before the interference of values and principles, who and what you were before that. That's the reminder the child can have for the parent.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now I got to find a way to get into that mind state of pulling out of, Babylon, so to speak, and going back out onto the land. The family has enough scattered, but it's scattered. It's not in trust. And that's where I think I have to step in for my family so that the legacy can move forward and start to gather whatever property is held by each individual and kind of get the idea going that, look, it's own nothing, control everything. Let's get this idea out of our minds that we're here to hold things till the very end, till we die. Nah, that's not how it works. That's not how the rich do it. So let's get our shit together and do it right, because,
Yeah,
in
ownership in this system implies obligations set by them.
Correct. And even,
right? So you
that
don't
aligns,
seek to own.
right. And that aligns itself with universal laws where You come in with nothing, you leave with nothing. You simply control what you created, you left it in trust, and you pass it along.
That's
So
godlike.
that
Godlike doesn't care
exactly
as much about the material as it does the principle and purpose. It uses the material to further the principle and purpose and leaves it when we're through.
correct. And that's kind of like where I have been trying to shed light onto my family, because I'm like, man, why didn't I grow into a family that knew this, that had it already laid out? So now I'm realizing, nah, if my parents don't get the shit together, then I gotta start doing it and teaching my kids how to, operate in this world, because we gotta operate in it. We're not of it, but we're in it. And there's a way to operate. And usually if you study the winners operate in a certain way. So if you can emulate that and be that in your own way, you're gonna be a winner automatically.
Right. Don't listen to what they say, watch what they do, and then replicate from a perspective of spiritual values and principles, if you will, right? So, um, yeah, I mean, you can look at anything like that. You can look at the body and anything that extends off of that, including the world. You could argue one is an extension of the other, and or the way we interact with the world makes it such that on some level we create our reality within the laws of nature. So, yeah, once you see the truest source of your beingness and everything else is a manifestation or extension of, you start to work with rather than against, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And then
you
you
can
start
fight
to
the
observe
current.
more life on life's terms. Go ahead.
Yeah, you could fight the current, or roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. If you study though that little melody within itself, it could teach you a lot. Why fight the current? Just find a way to go down the stream at peace. And if the river is gets crazy, hit the banks, get out. Go back on the land, reset.
Yeah, well,
You
this
know,
is why when I meet people, a lot of times I will do the same thing you do with a ship. Before you navigate it on the seas, that may be have highs and lows, right? And may cause everyone's detriment. I tend to poke the hull, if you will, without that sounding too much like a double entendre. Although I guess it could go the same way. Uh, but I will do the cursory inspection at various times of the structure and integrity of this beingness, right? That I'm dealing with. This is what's the triggering, all the rest of it. Because I recognize seemingly somewhere where that hull is lacking in integrity. So I poke it to make sure that it's not dry rotted, if you will. Right. And then if the hull comes through and I start to see the evidence of lack of integrity in that foundation, then I know that a repair is necessary. The same thing happens with conscious and awareness that happens with any vessel that you take on the seas of emotion, right? It's the same idea. Emotion is the sea. You have to navigate it. So I will poke the foundation of folks at times to see how integral, how sturdy, how strong is this person's foundation, who and what they are, what they're not, and can they navigate the emotional turbulent seas of life with self? Not me, with self, because it starts and ends with self, and then it extends out to me, and vice versa.
but if you don't want to sink the ship, we do that at dry dock. So we got to hit the banks either way and pull the ship out the water, and then because if not, we could sink the ship just poking holes while it's in the water.
Right, but
So
this is what this venue is supposed to be. It's not a place for you to show up and masquerade as complete. It's a place for you to show up and poke the hole collectively to find out where the integrity is lacking so you can make the repair and go off into life and be better and do better, and then come back with something to report about your journey. That's what people are missing about this. They're too much in their ego and pride to do the work that needs to be done in this venue and therefore any venue because someone's watching. Well, guess what? God's always watching, simple motherfucker. And you're always watching yourself. And that's what affects you the most, whether you want to admit it or not. It's not about Paul Unslaved or Mitchell or anybody else here viewing right now. We're just replications of that. We're extensions of that. So what is your lack of ease? What is your dis-ease centered on? Is it my words and what they represent? Or is it your lack of integrity and belief, better yet knowing of and in yourself and what you're here to do and going to complete?
And or is it pharmakia that's literally fucking with your brain chemistry? Food for thought.
Here we go. You always want to find a way out of everything. Instead of a
Dude,
way
I know.
in.
I see how many people are in this
Bro, I'm getting
so-called, and
tired
I'm
of
not
you.
calling it that.
I'm getting tired of you and your dysfunction. And Christos is shaking his head, and that's your giraffe riding, rainbow color wearing buddy who you party with and take Molly with. And potentially do little
Molly and
games at night when it gets
Oolong.
dark, like who can get their hand closer to the inner thigh without getting too uncomfortable. Like, let's see who can go up further and further before someone gets uncomfortable.
No,
And it
Paul,
always
we're
ends with
only
someone touching someone's dick. Let's be real about it.
we're
So
only
again,
Eiffel
I just
Towering.
laid out a whole thing like I always do, and you detracted from it with your victimhood consciousness that hasn't served you yet. Stop making fucking excuses why. Yeah, stop making excuses why motherfuckers are lazy, procrastinating, weak, prideful, and arrogant in their cowardice and weakness, and unwilling to observe themselves and the truth as it is. It's not the pharmakia, dude.
My bad. Let me not say
One leads to
pharmacia,
the
but
other. I would know.
pharmaceuticals. Is that better?
No, it's not. Because you put the fucking result and the power outside of self, and that's constantly your problem in life. So how could your problem in life be a solution for anyone else here? Does it make any sense?
I think you're misguided on what I'm trying to allude to, but
I wouldn't know, and we wouldn't know. I'm going to speak for everyone now until someone corrects me. I don't know where you were going with that or what it's meant to invoke, other than that another excuse or justification for why man and woman can't be what they're meant to be, because pharmakia exists, like it hadn't existed from the beginning of time, wasn't written about in the scripture.
not pharmakia. Pharmakia is not the right word, because some people would say using cannabis.
I
is
had
fucking
all the right
pharmakia.
words, and then you wanted to introduce something that is not pertinent or germane to the conversation or where we find the power, value, or inspiration.
Yeah, it's the people's lack of discernment for putting that in their body, not the poison. The poison's you gotta stop blaming the poison. Start blaming yourself for
Sure, but
taking the
it's part of a whole. It's part of a whole beingness, you know.
Yeah, but
This
that's the
person's
part
trying hard down there and still failing miserably. Is anyone buying into that being me? the picture's blurry. Is that Snafu Snaps? Did you take a picture with an iPhone of a screen? The picture's
that
blurry. The thing's uncapitalized. It's the wrong picture for the wrong account. And you act like I walk around talking like that.
What is clausurs? What does that mean? The closures like fucked up?
That's the thing. You're even misspelling things from a European bent. You're obviously Tarek or some European trash, some Romanian trash who tried to use a European spelling of closures and fucked even that up because it's wrong European spelling and it's wrong English. So you're an illiterate fuck as well. That's something that typically is going to set off alarm bells with people about me. It's just the way you folks type, the shit you say, and the fact that there's no continuity or consistency in the imagery and in the nomenclature. So it just hasn't worked ever. I got people who hit me up constantly. They go, hey, look, some retard try to pretend to be you, and it's obviously not you and the way you type and what you would say. And they get caught all the time trying to solicit funds from people as if I would do that. Like I'm going to go contact the audience members privately and ask them for shit, right? Are you kidding? And then if someone does that, I'm going to tell you you're an idiot, right? If somebody out there says you gave somebody something who pretended to be me and thought that I would ever come to this audience privately and ask for shit, you must be insane for what you think it is that I'm here doing. You must think I'm Slow State or one of them. I've already told you the best I could do, like Rick from Porn Stars, is I might hit up some of these good-looking broads down there for a picture or two from now and then. Sue me. Right? I make sure that I get it on record that they're down with it. I don't tell anybody and whatever. A man is a man first and foremost. And let's just be real about it, right? Like physical attraction is the first thing we see. And if there's something to work off from there, then we roll with that. If not, I'm perfectly cool with me in this process and procedure. Do I want certain things at times? Do I like certain things at times? Yes. Am I perfectly comfortable without that to do what I'm meant to do? I'd have to be. So that's the best you're going to get. And even that, we're going to like put that under scrutiny and analysis. So don't get any ideas, you cretins. If you're going to pretend to be me and hit up these women for pictures, you better do a really good job because they're probably going to know you ain't me just by the way you type and the energy and presentment and all the rest of it.
Yeah, speaking of, John in the chat earlier, like 10 minutes ago. Why don't you click the link, dude? You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to expect anybody to... You could be AI, bro. You could be scammer AI. It's the internet, man. Click the link.
Bro,
Not
they
gonna
got
happen otherwise.
people calling. They got AI calling people to set up like their medical appointments and shit now. And the voice sounds just like a human being. It's getting creepy, bro.
Did you
What do
watch
they
We're
call
gonna
that?
do
beginning
the
of the?
we're gonna do the uncensored version one day where I'm gonna get what would you call it? Consent from various women of these communities to come out with all the interactions they've had with me and really embarrass all the bozos who've been embarrassing themselves, hitting on these women, trying to get their affections, trying to close deals with them, who were open and available for me that I pretty much walled up on or told them there's nowhere to go with this. So that's gonna be a fun day, huh? When like certain guys who say, I got this bitch and she's really about me. And I just show that like a year before that, she was all on my shit and I shut her down. So she took the second, third, fourth, fifth option and went to fucking with you light status. Right. Like when I show the women who've given me money and showed me everything about them and all the rest of it, who I haven't said a word about because I don't play that way. When I get their consent, if I get their consent, I'm gonna make a lot of you bozos on here look real goofy and silly. And the women are probably going to be down for it. They're going to say, yeah, go ahead, Paulie. Let them know. Don't show them none, but just tell them what's up. And we'll ride with it, right? Because they love watching you fucking cowards and geeks squirm just like I do. They pretend they don't, but they fucking love it. They can't get enough of it. So I just can't wait for that episode when you tell me how narcissistic and egotistical I am. And then all the women you pine away for and chase and try to simp on were just open and ready and available for me till I told them we couldn't go any further. Because that's the man of integrity and credibility I am in front of and behind the scenes. See, lust is not always good enough for me. Sorry to let you boys know. Right? You lust constantly and don't even get what the fuck you're lusting after. Wouldn't know what to do with it once you got it. Let's be real about it.
It's embarrassing.
It is. They constantly project on others that there's no selfless component to the consciousness, and it's embarrassing.
All hail Gorilla Gems and Conflicts, of course. Were you
Yeah,
gonna
shout
drop
out
that latest?
Tard.
Yeah, I dropped the link in the private chat for that clip for the Jack in the Box clip.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Well, there's your synchronicity.
I drop it again in the regular chat.
Why are you telling me hi in the back chat, Christos? Why don't you just say hi to me? You're on the fucking panel, man.
That was long ago when everyone was talking, bro. You know, I was pulling the Dominic Sardini, you know, and having no respect for the host, and I was filling up
Sardini?
the back.
Is that how you say his last name? Sardini?
Hey, don't worry about it. Jack yesterday kicking Dom, saying he's filling up the back chat, distracting him. That was one of the craziest things I heard. Now,
Yeah,
Dom
is that one of those
had
synchronistic names,
combos in the
Sardini?
back.
That's Italian for stinking fish. So I can imagine that you know the content would be emblematic of a Sardini.
I thought it was Tersigni.
Yeah, it's something like that. I say it
Oh,
wrong.
he's talking about that. Yeah, I'm sick of that kid too. Tired of his fucking nonsense. He's
That
got
kid is
some good
probably like-
ideas. He's got some good speeches with some good information. But every time I see him show up, it's that toxic positivity, passive aggressive, inauthentic shit. And it just gets under your skin at some point because you know it's not really who and what he is. You know he only shows you what he wants you to see and then deletes all the other shit to try to create a characterization here. He's also fake, which coming into rooms, showing himself, and then leaving every time. What is that? Who comes into room? Like I do that to be a troll and to trigger people and fuck with people. You're not that guy. So what are you doing when you come onto these broadcasts and go, hey, everybody, okay, gotta go, I'm busy. It's so forced and put on an attempt to make you look like you're busy and have something to do. You're not. You're not that guy. It's just, you know, they do shit I don't do when I have a character and presentment online and could do that better than they could. And they do a whole bunch of shit that's just not necessary. It's extra. And it detracts from who and what you could be. Trying to pretend to show us who you want us to see you as. Another guy who just can't go up on panel and tell Jack Talcott he's a tard once every month. Like, hey, listen, bro, I got love for Jack. I want him to do good. But every once in a while, you got to remind him, bro, you're insane and you're acting like a fucking tard. But you can't do that because you're too love and light, right? Who the fuck wants family or friend like you, ultimately? Or you toxic positivity slaves who never keep it all the way real. These are the same men who women never want to fuck. This is what I love too. Paulie's toxic masculine. They white knight all day. They fake these presentments. They're inauthentic. And the women don't even want them or into them. Like, what points are you getting? What are you achieving? Women don't even want you. The only women who want guys like that are the broken bitches who constantly need to feel safe because they're like not out of their trauma. They need some little beta boy that makes them constantly feel reassured and safe. No real woman wants you. And any man that acts like that, you're fucking boring. Step one of the ladies man, non-ladies man, because I'm not slow state class, is women don't want boring, predictable men who always try to act like something they're not.
Yeah, would it be safe to say that often lies, or maybe even usually lies in just unresolved trauma and, fake, I guess, just learning fake, I don't know, spirituality, just fake what it means to be.
Right. At some point, you're going to have to get really real with yourself as a man. Do you want women to want to fuck you or not? Or do you just want all the broken hoes who want to feel safe with you for being something you're not? We're back to actualization and realization again. All roads lead back to Rome, huh?
All roads lead back to self, indeed.
Well, while there's a lot of silence here, I'll take advantage of a little bit of that, Paul. Not really about Dom, but just that guy, Just Us, Jesus 33 TV. When that guy came over, man, he literally talked like a clown. Because we talk about how like sometimes people's physical stature will reveal what's inside, as within, so without, as we know. Well, like even the dude's voice, and I know I don't gotta judge him because of the voice, but the content of character matched the voice. He was always flipping things, playing devil's advocate unnecessarily. And he would
bro,
say,
you're living in a movie, bro. You're living in a movie and everybody's a character. That's all you gotta know.
How about that Westwing fucking guy?
Oh man, it's just it's casting central, right? It's central casting. Right? It's like you come on here and it's just one character after the next. That's all exactly what it should be if there was a script writer behind the scene.
There's a guy that took advantage of that. I don't know his name, but I catch his shorts every now and then where he has like this little venue where people come and cast themselves, whatever talent, and he just kind of like clowns them and kicks them off the stage. It's like,
bro, Jack Talcott is Jack Talcott. Justin Padini is Justin. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I know it makes no sense. Now he's on too much weed. So like, what does that mean? Justin Padini is Justin Padini. Exactly. If you meet him in the movie and it's like, hey, I'm Justin Padini. Oh, it's yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's you. But you do that's you. Like someone's writing behind the scenes here. It's just, the writing's too good. Like even Mitchell is Mitchell. There's no other way to see it.
Yeah.
It's all a script, man. Even the white gorilla. The white gorilla is it's all exactly what it's supposed to be.
I do want to say something about Rob G. I think that he has a lot of respect for you and he wants to contribute to you. He'd rather contribute to you. Maybe I'm the next best thing. But yeah, I think if you unblocked him, he would. I think that's what he's upset about.
He has no way to make his way up on this panel to ask me directly for me to unblock him. He has to go through you to get me to unblock him in chat to then contribute to me and what I do. If what I do is valuable, you contribute whether you're blocked or not. Do you see the level you got to get to observe what is? See, whether you like me or not that day is not what should be the foundation of the impetus for you to contribute or not, because then you wind up like Tarek. Don't contribute to me because you like me on Thursday, because by Sunday, I'm going to fuck that up. If you see value in what I do and what I create and how it makes you feel or cause you to question or all the rest of it, then you contribute. You see how that works? Because if not, then we have these things that happen. I don't believe I have him blocked either. I might. We go through our cycles here. It's me. I'm doing it. We go through our cycles here. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes people get blocked because I'm just tired of looking at them, tired of seeing the same bullshit chatted down there, tired of them not rising to the occasion and coming up and having an interaction with me. It's my feeler sometimes. I get in them. Whatever you want it to be. Right? It's not necessarily personal. I don't hate you. I don't have a problem with you. I appreciate when you contribute to me. If you see value in what I do, I've learned to not appreciate when people give me contributions because they like me, don't want me to do this, not. That fucks me and you up. So I've got away from that early in the game. I almost never even took it on, right? It's just natural for me to not even take that shit on because I see where it goes at this point from the beginning. So yeah, man, there should be no reason why, if he maybe he can't see my link because I have him blocked. If that's the case, I mean, I don't know. I guess I can unblock him and we can do like we do here many times because I've regularly cleared the unblock list. Illuma Tommy's been blocked like 50 times or more and unblocked. And he's not changed the way that he interacts with me or this audience or the broadcast or anything, really. He thinks he's got better at playing more bitch-like games, but I argue he's getting worse. He's less effective. He has less credibility and effect over time. And he has less awareness from the audience. The audience is just getting tired of listening to him and it being the same bullshit rap over and over again that goes nowhere. So yeah, I'll clear the block list. Contributions or not, I'll take this as a moment, right? To, as I do many times, clear the slate, start back from zero. All of GIMP's alternate accounts will now be unblocked because I think there's at least 2 or 3 in the pit right now. He's got 2 or 3 of them out.
Man, you're taking away
You
all
have
my
2 or 3 personalities that are free. 2 or 3 of them are in my pit. Right? So depending on which one you want to show up as, you're good or you're not. I got to get polycentric uniball inverse out of the pit just because I like that one so much. Like even when you pissed me off and you tried to use me the other day. I know what you were doing. You purposely got on that account. I know what you did. Dude, you think I'm not you and I don't know what you're doing because I don't ask you. I'm so in tune. It's crazy. It fucks me up how in tune I am. How I can read people. I know what you were doing. You purposely got on an account because you thought I would give you grace with that account. Then I said, now I got to block him quick because he's going to continue this pattern of using polycentric uniball inverse account to shit on me. Don't do that. Can you keep that account sacred? Only come on that account as me on that account when you want to say nice things or like have fun with me. Don't spoil that account with your fucking hatred, bitterness, and resentment when you're in your twist.
Deal.
Very impure. All right, I'm clearing the slate right now.
We're exonerating today.
That's it. See, part of being a philosopher, God King of Unslavia or any kingdom is every so often, much like the Hebes do on the other continent over there, they have their Shemitah celebration. It's kind of like Klaus's Great Reset, right? Where everything every 7 years gets set back to zero. All debt is forgiven. All slaves are overlooked for their misdeeds and misgivings, right? We're back to zero, right? I tend to like to do that every day. There's some folks who you can't do that as a daily process with because they never find a home. They never find this grounding perspective with you. So they're always just kind of out there. You know? Mitchell's not really one of those people. There's many times where we find commonality. There's common bond. There's grounding. There's purpose. There's value. There's recognition of the truth, who and what I am, life on life's terms. It's all there, right? It's like the perfect love affair. But then there's something else going on with them, right? There's that twist. And that's what makes people hard to love long game is how many times can we have the up and down before I start to expect it from you? You almost call in this need to self-mastery because I have to constantly forgive and start over with folks who right around the corner are going to backslide and do the same behavior that caused us dis-ease. It's not just me, it's us. Because I know people in that mode never like themselves in that mode or after that mode. I know, I've been there. So it doesn't work for them, doesn't work for me, doesn't work for us. So how do we stop doing it is, I guess, the question we always come back to. And I think that's a process. It's a process of learning oneself and others and all the variables involved and becoming comfortable with self and others and all the variables involved.
Yeah, I got some interesting comments from Craig Nice in the chat. More so the first one that actually appeared in the chat, which to me is a dead giveaway of who it is. I mean, pretty much no one else I could think of who that would be.
Okay, what did I say? He's asking you if I said something. What is he asking you if I've said?
Yeah,
Palpatine Paul.
Yeah,
Oh, I get it.
backtrack.
Tommy had some effect because there's one, I guess, as a woman here who's hypersensitive, broken, and still living out the trauma she experienced at one time. And because Tommy clipped out of context me saying, Pineal, your father's dead, and doing kind of a bit non-bit there and shaking him up and everyone up, including myself in that moment, to get back to a different idea. Right. He was somewhat effective with one of the 8 broken hoes who've never like healed their trauma, who as soon as you speak the truth of what life is, they start to think you're a bad man and you're toxic masculine. The truth is my mother's dead and Pineal's father's dead. Do you want to like not accept that truth on the lowest physical level? On the highest level, there is no such thing as physical death as far as I could perceive. So what is it exactly you're afraid of in what I said? And what exactly part of what I said is untrue? You're just upset over a truth that I spoke that was taken out of context when I have hundreds and thousands of hours of sitting with this man, caring for him, and wanting him to heal from his trauma, move on and outcompete his father, who did not meet his obligations and responsibilities in the proper sense. Sorry for doing that.
Well,
Maybe
for
I
me,
should just take him as he is and let him replicate that trauma and never break that trauma bond and continue to replicate in the same way on some level as the old has. The same thing I've experienced with my father. So sorry for seeing a self as self common bond there and speaking from a perspective of firsthand experience that's worked for me, whether he likes it or not. Do you think it's comfortable for me to bring this shit into people's face the way that I do, knowing what the fuck I'm going to get a lot of times? It's not. But I move past it for the bigger purpose and picture. And I trust that the folks who join me here regularly see my true sentiment and heart and know what it is that I'm doing here, despite whether they like me or not. I trust in that.
were you hurt by that, Panu? I mean, I was there when that happened, and
I
and
would
that
say that at first I was a little indifferent or confused rather, but afterwards I think I started to make sense out of what I feel it was that Paul was trying to do, which was to
that's the
facilitate
problem.
exactly what he just articulated.
Exactly.
Right. So we're having our own personal experience to us, and other people outside of that experience are constantly projecting onto it to make themselves look self-righteous and to assassinate my character, aka Illuma Tranny. So you might want to check yourself and your discernment following a misleader who can't even lead himself out of the middle of a Denver hovel surrounded by asylum cases. Okay, looking like he's ready to fucking die, which is why he never comes on camera. You might want to get a little bit more discernment on you, sweetie.
To be fair,
Figure
it
out
would
who's
help.
who and what's what and what the fuck we're all doing here on the metaverse and off.
Yeah, to be fair, if a Tommy is out there listening, it would help if you stop deep frying bread in a pot of canola oil. I assure you that's not going to do you any fucking wonders, dude. Especially canola oil. Jesus Christ.
And then he tried to bond with me because I'm overweight. They tried to get on me for, and I go, bro, you were frying poison in poison. And then the other day you're there with a Home Depot bucket in the middle of your living room stirring applesauce on a hot plate out of a can. You are literally the guy Trevor from Grand Theft Auto. We used to play it. I used to play that game back in the day. Everyone played that game. You don't remember Trailer Trash Trevor? I own a trailer and live in one half the year, and I know trailer trash when I see one. So what do you want me to tell you? You're literally the guy Trevor from GTA who just runs around in ripped up clothes, saying shit nobody understands, getting violent for no reason, hooked on meth, and probably fucking animals, because I'm pretty sure he was fucking an animal one day, because he's another voluntary celibate for spiritual purposes. Give me a break. There's not a woman on this land with any kind of discernment or functional emotional attachment style who would get within 10 miles of you and your sickness that you show online and is probably exponential offline.
Yeah, to be fair, he had one thing that was decent, somewhat, I wouldn't say redeemable, but I was like, oh wow, I was surprised to see it. It was some like coconut curry or some shit. That was actually pretty a decent
Tommy is a
brand. So I'll give
fraud,
him
like
that.
many on here, constantly only showing you what they want you to see, and even that is a pale embarrassment to what is or what is potentially possible. So even their best attempts to just show you who and what they are to get you to ride with their narrative reveals who and what they actually are, which undoes the narrative.
I kind of
It's a
disagree
fascinating
there.
thing
I
to
think
watch.
I think Tommy openly shares his complete retardation at
No, he
times. So I would.
doesn't. No, he doesn't. He shares his retardation and then makes excuses for it and pretends it's a character, but he does not let you in on the fact that he's poor and broke. He tells everyone he's rich till he gets caught 3 a.m. saying he's not liquid and has nothing. No kidding. People say they're not liquid means you don't have shit. Not liquid. What the fuck does that mean? It means if an emergency comes up, you can't cover the spread. That's what not liquid means. It means you squandered all your value and you potentially didn't work all your life to have nothing and be nothing. And now come online with your jealous, envious ways projecting onto me and people like me. And I'm sure I'm not his only test case. I'm sure he has a list of folks who, if we were to find out, I usually find out these folks have a list of folks they follow around and play this game with. That's how pathetic they are with 10 different alternate accounts. They're not righteous. They're not resolved. They're not resolute people. They're not actualized and realized. They're the antithesis of everything I do and or speak about here. You haven't noticed.
Yeah, to answer the question, if I blame myself, there are of course some things I have to that I've had to reconcile about that I blame myself for, you know what I mean? Like how in his final days I was going to a school because I was expelled from high school for cannabis, for a small amount of fucking cannabis, a few
Penile,
grams.
I'm going to stop you right now. I'm not invalidating your experience. It is absurd to presume that there's anything that you would have done or been that would relieve him of the responsibility and obligation he neglected by taking his own life. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
no, it's ultimate. I know the reality is that ultimately it's his choice, but trust me, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up because we can't, whatever, negate or avoid the reality that we do have an impact on others and that there are choices and things that we do that very well could change
You
the
don't
course
do
of
that. You
another
don't
person's life.
get away from living authentically because other folks can't handle you in life on life's terms. You can't get yourself in that rut, bro. There's nothing that was supposed to happen with you that was meant to lead to him taking his own life. He bitched out. He let the cowardice get to him because he didn't see any other way out.
Mhm.
So he took the easy way out. That's the harder way out for you and everyone else he left here. He was a selfish
Correct.
motherfucker in that moment. Simple
Correct.
as that. And get it. I've been there, bro. I've been there writing the notes out over
Been
and
there
over
too.
again and not getting it done and overdosing and all the rest of it, directly or indirectly. That was the path I was on because I was being a punk ass coward. I was lying to myself and everyone else. I had a skewed perspective about myself and everyone else, and I would not get right. Not that I could not, because I believe I have on some level now. I would not. So his lack of care for himself caused him to choose something that he thought was going to be an easy way out and away from the pain that caused more pain and suffering for everybody who he was supposed to care for and lead and guide and protect and reveal to by completing within himself. He neglected his obligation and responsibility in creation and in that household. We have to surrender that. That obviously was a testament to the pain he was in. You cannot blame everyone else and everything else in life for responding to life on life's terms in that way. There is no excuse. There is no justification. There is only learning and directing that pain into becoming and doing and being better and surrendering the outcome. You cannot live in the past. You cannot be guilty about what you did or didn't do. Again, you've been with me long enough to know that if I did something like that to myself, there's no way that anybody here could be seen as responsible for that. I don't care what anybody said to me. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they projected onto me. That is my responsibility and accountability to keep myself where I need to be, to show up for myself and others every day in a way that provides some level of co-creative ability, right? So when I don't do that, or I take the easy / harder way out for everyone else who I leave here by taking myself out of the game instead of becoming better at the game of life, that is my responsibility and accountability, and no one else will be blamed for that if that time ever come. And I don't see that time coming. I think that time is past.
But yeah, I mean, I know the reality. I've had enough time. 14. Oh yeah, coming up on coming up on the 14th anniversary here in a couple weeks. But of course, I've had to I've had to reconcile the reality of what really happened, and that happened a long time ago. But it's still it's always going to be part of my process. So of growth and spiritual development, and like you said,
Listen,
self
bro, you can use anything.
mastery.
Part of my process and growth would be saying, you know what, Dad, I love you, but you took the easy way out. You were a punk ass coward, and now I'm gonna do better and be better and have better for myself and whoever's left here. That you don't go out like that, bro. Again, it's easier said than done. You don't know what anybody else is going through. You could claim you do, but you don't objectively. The bottom line is a lot of us have been there before. We've been suicidal. We've been all those things, and we know there's a way out now. So we believe if there's a way out for us, there's a way out for them. They took themselves out before they had the opportunity to receive the blessing and the grace. Potentially, you could argue that might be what's meant to be on the highest level. We don't know how this shit works completely. So we have to go with, hey, either you took the easy way out and were a coward, or maybe that's what's meant to be. And then you got to decide what the fuck is meant for you, right? Based on what's shown. And I don't think that's meant for you to live like that, right? I don't think it's meant for you to walk around here not liking yourself and taking the easy way out and leaving more of a burden on everybody else who extends off of you. You know, your lineage, your community, people who care about you, including myself. That's kind of the tough thing about what's meant for you is at some point you almost have to decide it's meant for you before it shows up completely. And that's what I think a lot of us miss at some point. We didn't decide what was meant for us, so we just got caught up at what was. That could be a great motivator for you, bro, if you let it be. It could be a great source of pain and therefore a great source of motivation if you let it push you to be who and what you're meant to be rather than pull you back from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, use it as fuel.
You got to figure, bro. If your father took the easy way out, he's sitting somewhere right now going, man, I took the easy way out. I was a fucking coward. But what's done is done. The only thing left now is that my son not do that and not be that and be better than I was and do better.
He did leave me with some. Yeah, he did leave me with some good game that I think he articulated some pretty. He expressed some extremely important points, like for instance, don't ever get addicted to hard drugs. But then, of course, in my head, I thought, oh well, don't ever get addicted to hard drugs. I guess I could still try.
No, bro. The bottom line is, if you ain't on pills and powders heavy at this point, then you need to get off it and stay off it and not do it recreationally. Because I'll tell you firsthand, yeah, that's a big part of it. If your father was on methamphetamine or heroin or shit like that, it'll take your soul, bro. I'll tell you from firsthand, being on heroin, I've done shit and been a part of shit that I couldn't even imagine at this point, just because it deadens you. It just rots over all the morality and ethics and co-creational empathy, right? So, yeah, man, you know, it's a long way back. It'll take you years to really start to get your center and balance and peace back, and to really start to feel what other people feel, and not let it be a burden to you, but let it be, again, a source of co-creation and aspiring to attain some level of truth, true enough, right? So, yeah, man, there's a fine line. Again, a lot of the reason I believe these people go on heroin and these drugs is because they are hypersensitive. I was that way. I took on too much of what other people were thinking and feeling and say about me. It affected me too much, right? Along with that intuition I had in me that was at odds with a lot of that shit. And of course, a skewed perspective about myself where I didn't want to accept why the fuck they were telling me a lot of the shit about myself that they were telling me. There was reasons for some of the shit, you know? So you got to work that all out and get it all together and work for you, right? There's a few moving parts there. So you got to figure out how much of this criticism is there something to draw on from, and how much of this criticism is just their negative projection onto me because I'm a representation of what they are and aren't. There's usually something in there on both sides, right? You know? And again, then it's the Talcott syndrome. If you got 99% of people in your experience showing up telling you the same fucking criticism about you, it's probably true. Despite what you got to say about those individuals back and where they could work on something, they're all collectively showing you one theme in your life that you need to change and work on. It's probably not them. You know? So, yeah, man. Life's a trip. There's ups and downs. I believe if you practice, and more importantly, I know for me because I see results. What seem to me to be results. I guess that's always the tricky thing about firsthand perspective is folks will tell you they got results, and then you look at their life and go, they're delusional. But what I seem to know for me is that this Stoic idea, like Stoic principles and values, this idea of self control, self mastery, this idea of the way to the way from the Eastern perspective, has a key to unlock a new state of beingness and a new level of results for the individuals who wish to practice and be students of life. And that means the game's never over. It's a consistent practice. When they put you in the ground, it's over, and then you probably reincarnate and do it all over again on some level.
I think there's a lot to be said about making that journey back. I can speak from my experiences with my dad. You know, he was pretty heavy into drugs, and took him a long time to really make that journey, and it was difficult. But he definitely wouldn't be the man he is today without it. And you know, it it takes a lot. Says a lot about a man or a person, a woman.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. Is that the world is not fit for the majority of folks who have care. The world seeks to take care away from you so you can function in the world. So a being of a high level of care or hypersensibility could be really fucked up in this realm if they don't have the proper guidance and self-reflection practice. So again, you guys, folks out there could bill me as narcissistic and egotistical. I don't see that in my walk. I see somebody who cared too much for one's own good to the point where I develop a process and a procedure to mitigate my care for people, places, and things, practice detachment in order to get something done within myself and in my life. The same reason I told Rose. She thinks I'm like this bitter, angry, resentful person who doesn't care about people. I'm so selfish and self-interested. I'm just aware I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. I don't want to use anybody else, and I don't want to affect anybody else negatively. That means I spend the majority of my time with myself, making sure I got me together and I'm doing what I need to be doing. Because all the rest of it's extras. When you're completely fucked up and disempowered and addicted, all you want is peace. When you finally come out of that and have peace, you wouldn't trade that for anything. And you spend your whole life pretty much practicing keeping yourself in a peaceful, productive state. Because when you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing, and you wind up back on the drugs and with all the wrong people. You see? So folks oftentimes mistake my process that is built for me so that I can just keep my life together and directed as some kind of an offense to them because I didn't love them enough. Motherfucker, I'm practicing loving me because that was what was wrong from the beginning. How can I love you if I don't completely love and care about me and have me together? You got to get selfish to get selfless sometimes. That's what a lot of you slaves don't seem to understand. You want to get truly selfless and be able to serve others and be present and aware and authentic, you're going to have to be selfish sometimes. That's what they'll teach you in recovery. It means you got to stay to yourself and develop a process for yourself that works for you and only you. You want to help other people with that and give that away? Great. There's nothing else to offer. So don't come to me with what the fuck else I have to offer. What else do you need in this life? I will always, and people who are called don't call themselves. People who are called leaders and spiritual gurus and all the rest will always be at odds or find resistance with people who think that we're in this realm to love and be liked and all the rest of it. Folks like me have come to the conclusion at a certain point we're here to complete within ourselves and whatever this universe has laid down for us for a purpose and meaning and a destiny. That means no person, place, or thing can come in between that process. That ain't for everybody, far from it. That's for few people. That's why they're called devotees.
The whole concept of a guru is approached so willy-nilly nowadays, and there's no, like, there's a loss of respect behind it because of the fake posers that kind of just tarnish it for the real ones. Because the concept of a guru is not to, like, I don't know, follow someone because he has 1,000 followers and everybody else is you could, that could be Taylor Swift. But the real process of a guru is, it could be, a master electrician. If you want to be a master in electricity, you have to take you have to render service unto some type of a master, and you take apprenticeship, you move up the ranks until finally you become a master yourself. And a real master doesn't even want followers. That's how I find masters, the ones that really don't want to be followed. Those are the ones that I
No, they don't
render
want
service.
followers. They want initiates to initiate into a practice, process, and procedure that they can carry the torch for the next generation.
Exactly. So, there's a way you approach a guru, and you find it in every walk of life, and even in your spiritual walk of life. There'll be somebody who you will sincerely gravitate to because they have something that you feel in your soul they may have to offer spiritually. And, part of that process is rendering service unto that master. That's sometimes you even wash the feet of your guru, so to speak, right? It's an allegory, so to speak, of
Right. Even that beingness understands that regardless of even what it wants when it comes to initiates, it understands that what's meant to be is meant to be. Doesn't matter what the being wants. Those who are meant to get this and walk with it and apply it and do something beyond, as the being said, greater things than I you shall do, they will show up, get what they need, and do what needs to be done with it. And you will be a source of faith and inspiration to them, in a sense, an aspect of that, but you're not the complete source of that, is what I meant to say. Right. So you seek to remind them of that and call their attention back to that, but you are not the source of that. That is within and with the universe. So that's why when they come to me with that egotistical shit about numbers, I go, bro, I already fucking burned a 20,000 subscriber channel in order to pursue something bigger that's meant to be. If that means that I'm here with 100 people by the end of the day who are meant to do something different in themselves and in this life, then that's the creation's will. Simple, infidel like motherfucker. Do you think that I'm going to be in a tent like these people do across the pond over there in a desert with 20 people worried about the 8 billion outside of that world we're living in? Worried about the 10,000 in the fucking village who are a bunch of punk ass cowards who already gave up? Nah, I'm right here. I'm right here with my 20 people because I know who and what the fuck I'm doing and what I'm not doing and who's meant to be there and not. And I got one or two of them in the group who I got my eye on, if you get what I'm saying. So you could play all those games with somebody else because I walk a different path and it requires different perspective and observation of self from me than apparently you folks' simple worldly day-to-day life that doesn't seem to be working too well for you either way. That's kind of the irony of it. My way is attractive, but it is controversial and confrontational, it seems, because it's not my way, it's the way. So we have each individual person's perspective and personality, and then something that is revealed beyond. You either get that, walk with it, and more is revealed, or you miss the point. And then you start tripping over your own feet or my feet while we're trying to do the dance that is life or a broadcast or anything else. It's very subtle. In the consciousness and awareness and the changes are very subtle. And it's so subtle that language does it a disservice. And when you try to communicate the differences in consciousness and awareness, oftentimes it's lost on people because they're not having the experience. There is no word or explanation that is a substitute for a firsthand experience. All of what we do when we do this is to bring folks or walk with folks to the point where they can finally have the experience with us. Then they go, aha, I see what you're saying. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I see what they're doing. Oh, this is fun. This is exciting. This is interesting. This is compelling. This is beautiful. This is ugly. You start to see it for what it is and you accept it for what it is. And then you work with it to create what is meant to be. This is what John Mazzio and Slave Cotton, Slow State, and all the rest of them can embody, is that state of consciousness and awareness, separate from whether or not we like each other or respect each other completely or even believe in what the other one is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful disaster, bring in order out of chaos, essentially, which is not just an evil motto by any means when you really get down to it and realize what it all is, because every life is chaos.
Right. And there's certain moments with all these characters where you touch that space of consciousness and you can feel it. And it's readily available for me most times. I can move right into it. They touch it sometimes with me, but then they fall back. That's the fallen state of beingness they talk about. The majority of these folks are so fallen that they touch these higher states of beingness with me and find harmony and co-creation, and it's a better broadcast than ever. And then they fall right back down to their low-level perspective, worldly personality, need to be liked, all the political push-pull, burdening games. This is why I tell folks, you need to leave your body. A lot of you folks, you're probably never going to get it. I don't advocate for drugs, but some of you may need to go take that ayahuasca shit or whatever and float around a little bit and come back to your body. It'll completely change your perspective on what you're here to do with the body and how you are not the body. And therefore, whatever you feel with the body just becomes an experience. Like the guru will tell you, the emotion of the thought is like a passing cloud. You observe it, you do not become it. It's a lot easier to do that once you've had an out-of-body experience. Oh, I'm just here to use this body. It's going to feel a whole bunch of shit at times. I'm going to get used to observing it and not becoming the experience. You get better at doing time. This is what every prisoner learns. How to do time in their vessel and in the venue they're in. Very overlooked skill.
Yeah, I need to read this packet again. But when did you have that experience? A couple years ago?
Out-of-body experience?
No, Aya.
Oh, yeah, a couple years ago. I didn't leave my body, though. I left my body smoking dust.
Where were you at? With the Aya, I mean.
I don't know what that means.
New Mexico.
Basically?
Yeah.
Oh, I was traveling with some woman who was apparently brought into my life to do this work or this art. She thought that we were there to fall in love. I didn't believe that, but I allowed her to, I guess, convince me on some level. You know, all the levels that felt good, I guess, till it didn't. So yeah, I mean, it's funny how shit shows up, right? Because this woman shows up and I'm like, I'm really not attracted to you that much physically. I mean, you got some things on you that I'd be into, but beyond that, I don't even feel like we're here to do that, physically or not. I feel like we're here for this other thing. And then it becomes, you know, the creatures we are playing around with each other's genitals, like we always like to do, you know, and then having to be reminded we weren't here for that. So I knew that and I spoke that, and then I let her trick me out of my power and position because she's looking for love in between doing whatever the practice and the art of living is, you know. So
Love, man.
listen, man, I just looked at it as pussy was available. Obviously, I'm being a dick, right? Because I really wouldn't, you know. Again, these are like women who at certain point tell me, oh, you should put your dick in me and all around. And I'm like, no, I don't want to have children. And I really didn't come into this with you, as far as I can perceive, separate from even physical attractions, to be doing this, right? But this is the walk of being a male creature. You know, is you either want to fuck every other woman or you'll let every other woman convince you that they're there to fuck you. You know, and then that's like what you're doing there, and it's obviously not. Right? We were in no position for different reasons to be playing around with that. And then, like I told you, the card dropped out of the deck one day because you know these broads keep tarot cards on them. They don't keep condoms on them, but they keep tarot cards on them. And the fucking card fell out and it said Queen of Pregnancy. Right after we, you know, because I said I don't really do that with women I'm with because I don't want to have children at this time. I don't think that it's not, it doesn't feel right. Right. So we go to, you know, having sex that way. And then she picks up them cards and the card drops out. Now she wants to start being conscious and aware. Right. Oh, it's just real crazy that card is the only card that fell out. Like it was not staged. Right. This is why I say God will work through anything to play with you. The universe will work through anything to fuck with you and get you back to conscious and awareness. So she then wanted to start to get into, oh, I don't want to have children with you. I said, now I'm a glutton for punishment. So I said, go ahead, tell me why you don't have children with me. Because I love, you know, being masochistic and sadistic and letting people say and do all the shit to get it out about me so I can learn from me in the situation. You know, but the typical thing she said that she wasn't saying before because subconsciously there's a whole bunch of trauma there with her daddy and all the rest of it. So the same thing she's attracted to about me, she can't reconcile. She also hates me for because I'm a representation of the patriarchy. Strong, masculine man. It's going to be my way or the highway. This is the rap. This is the narrative, right? Meanwhile, this is a goofy bitch who didn't realize I had more discernment, restraint, and self-control than she did. I'm the man and she's the woman. That might be your first clue. You know, so they're always sucking your dick before they turn around and start hating. And oddly enough, they always start sucking your dick for the same reasons that they start hating. And the only common denominator there is them and their subconscious belief about self and daddy and man and woman and all the rest of it. That's just what I've concluded. You know, these are always women who they got a bunch of situationships with a bunch of beta males who they got wrapped around their finger, and they're always looking for more, and that more is with me, but they can't handle the more the way that it comes about because it's not the way they expected. Right? These are the women who want to come to me when their beta males forsake them and let the courts run trains on them and then say, Paulie boy, what do we do? I first and foremost stop fucking with beta males. Because now I got to undo what the fuck they're doing. Plus, I have to get you to figure out who and what you are and how to approach a bunch of other beta males who want to pretend to be alphas in a courtroom venue. So, yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. They'll tell me about a guy that they're fucking with who they're going to collect their shit from his house, who they throw him right under the bus at the first sign of trouble. I go, it's not really, mystical and mysterious why you're attracted to me. I'm not the prettiest thing on earth. Right? But I got something they don't. And then that becomes, I think, a challenge to a woman to realize that the women who say they don't need a man, it turns out a lot of time they do. Not only for physical protection, but for leadership, guidance, for more concepts to be revealed. It's very challenging to the modern day woman's ego to think that they not only don't need a man, you actually do, because a man is going to bestow a whole perspective and state of consciousness on you that you're going to need to go to the next level. And this is what's so ironic about it is you have pimp and hoe relationships that go further and longer and deeper emotionally than a modern day monogamous couple. Because a hoe has at least accepted one thing, if nothing else. This man has what the fuck I need, and he's going to direct this train. She's going to let him lead, and that's going to make him feel and be and act more of a man, whatever that is. So am I claiming that you should be a broken hoe and let a man lead you deeper into dereliction or decay or dysfunction or lack of ethics? No, we ain't talking selling pussy. I'm talking about an archetypal idea of who and what a man is, what a woman is, what our form, function, and position is, and how we meet resistance when certain things are not displayed or applied.
I don't mean to interrupt, but speaking of divine feminine goddesses, are you going to just keep glossing over this Nastasia in the chat here? I've seen her coming through
No,
a
I'm
few
not
times.
glossing over her, sir. I've spoken with her. Part of the reason she's come here is because I've spoken with her in other venue. I didn't think it was appropriate to bring that into the conversation. She is a physically attractive woman. That's a dime a dozen. I think what's more important is there something that is potentially meant for us when it comes to co-creation in the future? And that remains to be seen. Right. So, I'm open to share all that I am and have with pretty much everybody. Who's meant for that is a whole different story, is what life has taught me. So I tend to defer to that dynamic rather than the chasing, seeking, clutching, desiring that only leads to suffering or disconnection. It's a little bit of this and that, right?
That's what I was trying to say earlier. That
I mean, let's be clear. That is a woman who my first interaction with her was I somehow was scrolling and came across a TikTok short that said, tag somebody who you want to give back shots to. So I tagged her. I saw her online. Not the most romantic introduction for a woman. Might argue a bit testing, challenging, and triggering. Where that all goes will be dependent upon the participants, because it wound up in a very grounding and humbling and co-creative conversation that was a bit more authentic. But again, there's nothing inauthentic about just saying that there's women you see out and about who you wouldn't mind giving back shots to. I mean, come on. A man is a man first. It was also a bit of, I'll level with you as well. I always do. There's also a bit of testing the waters, because I'm a fan of conscious and awareness and what it does and how it responds or reacts. So every once in a while, I'll just throw something at somebody and see what comes back. Kind of a fun game.
Yeah, she leaves you wondering. She leaves you wondering with those one-worded replies. You know what I mean?
She don't leave me wondering. You wonder. I don't wonder, bro.
Mm.
When you know, you don't wonder.
Maybe fantasize is a better word. Sorry.
Right. There you go. Be more authentic. You're trying to figure out how you're going to take her words and twist her words so you can live through me and create some psychosexual narrative that you can please your subconscious and baby meat with. I'll allow that. Why not? So many others are doing it here. Mitchell's doing it right now. I can tell by the look on his face. He's somewhat fantasizing, somewhat disgusted by
I'm disgusted
modern
by
day
my
courting
little-
and mating rituals. This is modern day courting and mating rituals. You're a very classic man. I know. You're an old soul like I am. But listen, at some point you're gonna have to reconcile.
All right.
We're all filthy animals out here, and we all have a conscious and awareness that can allow us to see from everyone else's perspective. So that's a great mix. It makes for a great story and entertainment piece that is the universal creation, right?
This is true. My dad taught me we're all filthy animals. It's just some of us are willing to admit it.
Right, and then direct it. You know, again, I've been with 4 women on all levels. I ain't exactly running around here banging everything that, throws their attention toward me. Believe it or not, I have had, at least a couple more than 4 opportunities to have sex. I know that I catch a lot of shit. Oh, Paul, he's gay. He's an incel. He's not a man because he hasn't used hundreds of women and fucked them and left them with nothing. I know, right? But I was never into that. As much as I was a horny animal, I was never into mating rituals, courting rituals, bullshitting women, taking them to the bar, buying them shit, lying to them, and then fucking them over. Just never into it, oddly enough. So as much as I like to fuck, the reality of it is there's folks who you're meant to do that with, and then there's everybody else. And you could argue when you're fucking with who you're meant to fuck with, it's all the more better, right? If you're fucking 100 women who you're not meant to, it's not quite as good as it could be.
So I changed my mind, Neil. I appreciate you being your true self. That's I think the real scary part are people are the ones that can hide it. People that hide who they
It's
really
Paul
are.
streaming from an outhouse. There you go. There's some words of inspiration, encouragement. No, it's a cabin in the woods, sir. I'm in a picturesque environment with elk and deer all around me, trees and mountains, and I have about 1,000 square feet. So I'm hardly doing without. I have all the modern day appliances and conveniences. I even have the ability to do Wi-Fi and broadcasting and fry my brain. Is that not enough for you? Am I not being and doing enough for you to feel like I'm accomplished and comfortable in who and what I am and how I'm living? What more could I do for you to feel that for me?
Well, the fact that you have an out
put up to 62,000, we didn't even cover it. What do you think's going to happen next? All that value is going to drop down into altcoins, and that means Daddy's going to be in a new pair of shoes. At least a couple of them Trump sneakers that say "Never Surrender." Yeah, I lived it. He just talked about it. Thank you. We have some breaking Morse code developments. Hold on a second.
Oh, you could hear that?
This just in.
No, I mean,
This just in.
that's the thing. I have my interpreter here. And that's part of that's a little something extra, right? Taking us back. Manuel, are you on this?
On the Morse code?
Yeah, I need you to take that down the next time that we get hold on. Is that coming through? Are you hearing that? Are you receiving that?
SOS Talcadia? SOS
Right.
Talcadia?
Penile powers a loser failure incel. What? Go ahead. Hold on, there might be more.
The transmission ended there. I didn't get all of it.
Penile power. I had to tease you and fuck with you because you're making all types of fucking clicking and clacking. It's always something with you, man. You're one of those kids in school who you get put in a special class like I did, not for being retarded, but you just require so much attention. You need constant individual one-on-one attention to keep you focused and directed. Like, I used to have a teacher just sit next to me and just tell me, Paul, you know, you're in school and you have to do this shit, right? And I go, I really have to. And then she would talk to me and go, oh my God, you're a genius. All right. So like, she'd give me words to spell and whatever. And she'd go, why is this kid? Well, I know why he's in special ed, because he won't do anything. He won't apply himself. And he's constantly looking out the window and making jokes and throwing shit, you know? So I wound up in a class full of retarded people. And I thought I was retarded. No, I just wasn't applying my time, energy, and attention properly for the venue. I'm your old woman sitting next to you saying, Penal, you got to do this assignment. That's all she would do. That was her whole job. This woman got paid $100,000 a year to sit next to a little chubby Paulie and remind him of what he needed to do while he was there, because he would rather do anything else than whatever's in front of him. Shocking dysfunction. I need a mama, basically. I guess is what we're deducing right now in real time. I needed a mama figure who wasn't available at home to sit next to me and remind me of what I needed to do as a good little boy in this venue. I never listened.
I had
Correct.
Where do we
decent
go with
problems
this,
too.
people?
Correct.
Where do you
gonna
want to
say,
take
correct
this?
me
We're
if
already
I'm
26
wrong.
minutes over the end time. We never got to breaking slave news. We didn't get to the Grim Hustle. No
We never
cop
got to
shootings.
Jack in the Box.
Right.
Right.
Hold on. Let's get to, I do have something up here that we haven't, it's been a while. We've seen it before, but it's been a while. Jackstown, everybody. And warning, this is very disturbing. But this is a real-time account of Jack Talcott's life and past endeavors.
I am a little concerned now.
And let me know if we have any sound
What are you
issues.
concerned about, Jack? Talcott clip collection.
Little conflicts, right? Let's conflicts and chill, huh?
Oh.
Holy. I look forward to change, brothers and sisters. I know for a fact humanity can do better. I truly believe humanity deserves better than this nonsensical fucking society of conflicts and slavery. This world is going to change. Change is magical. Change is mystical. Change brings the new. And the new can bring better. And I see better in the future for us. Attention all brothers and sisters. Please immediately report to the Pavilion of Love for Talcott time.
The Pavilion of Love.
Please report to the
Really?
Pavilion of Love for Talcott time. Get out of your imaginations. This is not a drill. Any and all disagreements will be met with swift repercussions. That is all. Peace and love. Thank you, brothers and sisters. And if everybody will relax, you'll have no problems with this thing if you just relax. I swear to God, I know how this sounds, but I'm not here to manipulate. I'm here to offer the peace that we all want. Dude, we are not here to be slaves to jobs, to debts. It doesn't have to be this way, brothers and sisters. Now, is it your responsibility to end the suffering? Maybe, maybe not. What I am offering is the miraculous gift of ascension, bringing God's children back to God. Brothers and sisters, we are all children, children of the divine. But all things that come from God return to God. I have faith we are returning to God as a collective, experiencing together. That's a long-winded way of trying to explain. I'm trying to offer people poison. let's all chill. There's nothing wrong. I know how it sounds, especially to children.
But the children are our future.
Let's get calm. Let's get calm. Open your mind. Stop being so narrow-minded, because I understand how it might appear. Okay, things are not always as they seem. Everything will be revealed that is needed. I do believe we are eternal spirits. When we die, I think we become one. We can resist or we can resonate. Okay, we have a choice. I don't want to push too hard, but please, I encourage people to consider this.
But Father, I'm not ready to die.
Tell yourself you can't. You won't. Tell yourself you can. You might see it happen. This is our lifetime to do it, brothers and sisters. Nobody else gets this experience but us. You can find peace and nothingness. I don't know. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to experience. To detach yourself from the insanity, the problems, and the divisions. No more. I don't want to see you go through this hell no more. I want to see you go. I want to go. Figure it out for yourself, but I don't think it's unreasonable. I think it's humane. I mean, between the medicine and poison, it comes down to the dose. And so take that medicine for yourself. It's available now. I swear, if you try this and if you can understand what I'm saying, living life with faith, it is so much better than living life without faith. I mean, this is God's story and God's plan. Have faith. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Just bring in the Kool-Aid. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to off yourself. No one should feel any guilt or have any second thoughts, because everything is perfect. What's the worst that can happen? Relax. Just flow.
Father, no. Look, I'm sorry, but this just don't make no sense. We all worked hard on Jackstown. How we just gonna give up like this?
Hey, brother, thank you. I mean, that question for me to answer, I feel blessed, but I don't give a shit about your arguments. Okay? I'm offering completion, and I offer it with love. So you guys can take it or leave it. The kingdom of heaven is now. This is the time of the shift, of the revelation. Right now, we have the opportunity to trust the universe. I mean, does it matter what happens after I die? Fuck no. Who cares? I don't give a damn about any people here on earth, but I want God to be proud of me. I want the Christ to be proud of me. This will be part of the documentary of the future, I guess. Because we are a part of something special called history. Brothers and sisters, God bless you. Praise God. This has been a wonderful adventure, but it's also been pretty damn frustrating. And frankly, I am about ready to wrap it up. Anything before we go regarding enlightenment? Any positive thoughts for the day? Encouragement you want to offer?
This is bullshit. He's not even drinking anything.
Absolutely. You make sure I receive none of that. That special drink is my gift to you. It brings us healing, but only you. Imbibe deeply, brothers and sisters. Don't forget the children. Don't think, just drink. Let the cyanide do what God intended it to do. Mother, please. Mother, please. They're just taking a drink. That's all it is. I don't care how many screams or anguished cries you hear. Lay down your life with dignity, brothers and sisters.
Holy shit.
Hey, so Jack said I could leave. He wants me to tell the story of what happened here. You know, about the wonderful miracle that took place at Jackstown today. Okay? Thank you. Oh my God, I can't believe that actually worked.
Anyone else? Final word?
No. Oh my god.
It's disturbing because it's potentially so real. Like it's what you could imagine happening.
What have you done, Jack?
It's like Elon Musk convertible.
Oh
It's so fake,
goodness.
it's real.
Optics are high.
Oh shit, bro.
Yeah, like to cover up all the degradation and abuse that went on from Talcott, everyone has to drink and kind of erase the bad reputation.
Peace for everyone. Choose love.
We don't want any record of what went on here.
It's a Talcottia reset.
Now that those ass towns are gone, the disagreements have finally ended. Praise God.
What's a new thing?
God.
I told everyone I would prove them wrong. I am there. Shocking. All right, I got to thank Keith Tomlinson. He says, thank you for what you do. Appreciate you, Mr. Tomlinson. You and other folks are a blessing to I. Much appreciated. Source of inspiration. All right, I guess we'll give the final words. Fuck it. I didn't put breaking news and cops killing on the headline anyway. So we satisfied the docket. We went into some proper instruction. We motivated some people. We got some contributions. We grifted and frauded, right? So I'm sure the other folks on the other panels will be proud, even if they hate on me. Yeah, we brought some value, some interesting conversation, some energy. And I'm feeling complete, brothers and sisters, at this time.
Yeah,
No new Grim Hustle?
You want the Grim Hustle? I'll give it to you. It's a minute and a half. He's fiending. Right? Christos is out back banging on the back screen door. Hey, you don't have Grim Hustle in there? All right, bro. I got a little bit. Whatever.
He didn't get his mom.
Don't do it in my bathroom. You're gonna have to take it to go, right? You can't do it in here. I want to be responsible.
Of course, I have advice for business and career, Druk. Number one, do not look at your competition so much. Why? It is more likely to die of suicide than of murder. You get it? Number two, you need at least 7 years to become big. Only build business or career for what you want to work every fucking day for 7 years, in good time and in shit times. Number three, only work for products that people want and that you want. If you don't really want it, you will give up when the rain comes in your face. Number four, focus on one goal only and track this goal with one number that you update every week. This number can be hours that you study, revenue made, numbers of meetings. People lie, but number does not lie. Number five, watch out for fast talkers with big confidence. They seem smart and quick and will pressure you. My experience, most of them are full of shit. Number six, you have to envision in your mind your success. Forget that American shit. You have to envision in your mind the bad times. Success will never come without bad times. And if you have envisioned, you have prepared. And finally, number seven, your willpower, your vision, your product is nothing without a good team. Take a good care of them. They are everything, not you. Be honorable.
Be honorable.
Your
You
thoughts,
must be
Suki?
honorable. I know Suki. Maybe some of the viewers down there are
Reminds me of
Suki.
man, what does that remind me of? My dad used
All
to
right,
love
Pino,
that
give me
shit.
the final words. I'm not going to hang about, mill about, kick around. We're in and out, okay? We do, and then we're out of here. On with the rest of our day and our life. That potentially might look like showing up at Jack Talcott's. You never know, but doubtful in this moment. That may change. Once I get something to eat and I settle again and I monitor him and his insanity, I may have the urge to pop in and correlate.
Do one more cop flicks. One more for the road. We got to do the Jack in the Box.
They're really making me
Well, he
work
usually
here.
goes with the Gorilla
Sure.
Gems outro. So that would suffice.
Yeah, I can
too, right?
outro with a cot flex.
But then you
Okay,
wouldn't
I'll
have
give him
played
another towel flex.
the
No,
G-
it's cool. I mean, listen, we got telling you, me, Talcott, and Talflix. We're like De Niro, Scorsese, and Pacino.
I think we got to get
90s.
Gorilla Gems,
Hitting.
Gorilla Gems subscribers up to where at least we're fucking. Well, maybe not to where Cotflix is at, but close because there's some quality content on there.
I like the reverse. That's you.
Oh yeah, I got that in my chamber too.
That's you.
The torch in the tomb, that's you.
That's you.
The voice in the street, that's you.
That's you.
The memory I meet, that's you.
That is you. Hey, Rand, from the chat, a good point. Trust God, love others.
I trust God, and
Can you
I'm
love
just gonna say this from deep within my soul, right? I'm not gonna say God told me because that would be crazy, but every fiber in my body is telling me that you are full of shit.
I love it. Face those feelings within you because you're lying. You're lying to you. You're actually
Jack.
lying.
Jack.
I love
Jack.
you.
Jack, that's you.
That's love.
Brother, here's what I know.
Those are your words, right, Jack?
Many people blame me for what they
Jack, is that you? Is that your words?
Is what my words. I'm sorry.
That's you. Are those your words?
When it's appropriate, I say that.
All right, well, it's appropriate now. That's you, Jack.
That's you.
That's you. You are the liar. Call me the liar. I called you a liar. You said, no, you're a liar. No, I'm telling you, you're the liar. That's it. It ends there.
Please, I think
any further lies distributed by the Jack still lies.
Continuing your persecution, so let's discuss your.
No, I'm done with the persecution. You are a liar.
Let's discuss.
And I don't care what you have to say because you are gonna lie more and more and more and more to cover up the lies.
Already. And look at what you're doing. You're bloviating and speaking over to make sure that only your truth is known.
Jack, I'll let you go on a 20-minute rant and you'll just say, oh, the divine nature of the spark of truth, of the toe jam, of the football, of the stadium spring foot. Look at my finger. Everybody focus. Hello? Divine spirit in all of us. Don't you agree? Like, come on, Jack.
Hey, Rand, back to where the conversation was.
You have to recenter.
That's you.
That's you. Oh man, that's great.
These are timeless.
Good shit. Yeah, Rand's an interesting character, man. He hopped over after you got off.
Jack in the Box has a new competitor in town. Well,
there we go.
I'm here to tell you that this town is only big enough for one Jack in the Box. I mean, this other guy doesn't even have his own restaurant chain. He just sits in front of a fireplace and, well, I don't want to promote him, so I won't. But what sounds better? A Jack in the Box spicy, crispy chicken strip combo, fries, and a drink for just $4.99? Or a life coaching session about love, light, and how to end wars and legal secrets with, well, with this other Jack in the Box? I think we all know the answer to that question, brothers and sisters. So, get out of your disagreements, back into the now, and come try my new spicy chicken strips for a limited time from the real Jack in the Box. And to any other Jacks trying to take my title, stay the hell out of my neighborhood, brother. By the way, get a job. It seems Jack in the Box has a new...
You know it's fucked up when Jack in the Box guy's insulting you. All right, give me the final words. I'm out of here. I want to eat something. I haven't eaten yet today.
Well, go eat something. Mazel, much love, and we'll keep seeing each other.
All right, Emmanuel, I look forward to having you back as always. And now I'm going to throw you out in a very respectable manner.
I love you.
All right, go ahead.
It's a good guy right there. I appreciate your time, energy, attention, and beingness, and all you have to offer, man. Really, I'm not simping here. I'm not doing any of that. So Tom, it's gonna be all right, Tom. I promise. I'll see you on the next one though. I'm planning already for this Saturday stream. I want it to be, well, that's the thing. I'm locked out of my account right now. So if I can get some resolution out of that tonight when I'm unlocked from my own fucking account for 24 hours, then yeah, I'm planning a great stream for Saturn Day. Either way, if I have to, I'll be on the third account in Occult with Thoughts. So see what it is, which is again completely unrelated to any other channel. So it's a completely different endeavor entirely. So anyway,
all right, Sean, all I heard was you're going to apply at that Applebee's and you're going to start making a living for yourself and be able to buy yourself some equipment so you could do the best broadcast ever. So I look forward to seeing you do all that and create that.
Correct, sir. Got it. All right, I'm out. Much love.
All right,
Peace,
we'll see you
prosperity,
later.
time, and power to you.
Appreciate you, sir. All right. It's been another resoundingly successful broadcast by your host, P.T. Burnham. I have many aliases, also the enslaved one, God of all media. Many hats I wear, many monikers. But there is only one true self, as we know. So I will move on with the rest of my day. You can catch me back here tomorrow, barring some act of God or the state, which, of course, as we know, is becoming more and more one and the same. If you ask the inauthentic corporate beta males and females, the state of and its corporate entities are the living/non-living God of man and woman. I don't contend that's the case, but still, I will be back tomorrow, somewhere between 12 and 3 MDT, as is usual. Thank you to the contributors and supporters. You are a recurring blessing for myself to allow me to do what I do, what I love to do, what I meant to do in some aspects, and bring some information, some value, some entertainment to this venue and to you folks. So with that, I'll leave it there. Mazel from out west. God of all media out.
I'm scared of this Paul and Slave guy.
We got to go hundreds and thousands of years back to even find a story of a great motherfucker to even figure out how to partially embody that life and lifestyle. I didn't do all this going, I'm going to get money, fame, attention, and be a hero. I said, I'm going to step out into faith, into what's true and what's right, and see what the fuck my power really is and what's working with me. It's inherent hierarchical power and value system. Doesn't matter what everyone else says the power is and the value is. You do this walk, and you're guaranteed a certain amount of power and value because it's rare, because it's based in truth, and the world is living a lie predominantly. It's a cause and effect based endeavor. You do this, you get this. You don't do this, you get this. It's been the same from the beginning of time. Culture and society is our enemy in a sense. Not that we have to do war on it, but culture, society, and what it creates is not your friend, and it doesn't benefit you. It takes you away from who and what you truly are, and gives you a set of value systems that are not inherently true or valuable. They're just valuable to that society and that culture. You don't even need a cosmic explanation to know I'm going to be a man as it pertains to my apprehension, and I'm not foregoing that for anyone else's coercion and duress. And I'm not a slave of the state. If anything, I'm a child of God, and I'm a servant of that and the truth, and I'm in a covenant with that force or that thing, if you want to call it. It's basically just pure understanding who and what you are versus what you're not here to do. You can ignore it to your own detriment. You all have to continue to serve some vision that's not yours indefinitely, and you don't know when it ends. And by the time it does end, you're going to be too old and broken down and burnt out and tired to even give a fuck.
God damn it, Paul.
I can do whatever the fuck I want every moment of my day. I'm guaranteed value. I live within my means. I have everything I need and then some, and I'm working toward a goal.
I'm scared of this Paul and Slave guy.
And again, to me, the tiger that you don't believe in is the tiger that will eat you, right? You want to sit there and act like it's all going to just be cute and cuddly and go on forever and never consider the obvious common sense cause and effect. How are you living day to day, and what's the source of this beingness? And if you're not going to be the source of that beingness, you're dependent upon someone or something else. That's a fucked up place to be, especially in times of trouble.